night.
Sometimes a football game is not just a game, and tonight we have one of those games.
Good. There it is. Good. Here we go. Get set.
I want to know where my mom is. Make sure she's okay.
It was just 33 days ago, a former Plano senior high student opened fire at a Walmart in El Paso, killing 22, injuring 24 more.
Texas grieves for the people of El Paso today.
But tonight, the football team from El Paso Eastwood makes the trip to North Texas to play Plano Senior High.
Plano doesn't need to be remembered for the tragedy. They need to be remembered for that we had El Paso's back.
The game was initially canceled by Plano school officials, saying there were safety concerns, and it was too soon after the tragedy.
We cannot give in to fear.
But less than 24 hours later, the game was back on.
We're going to be able to come together with another community to just show our love for each other.
Really bring the El Paso love to Plano.
El Paso is going to see what Plano is really like.
A situation of fear and caution has become a celebration of life and unity. The game goes on because life has to go on. We don't hate in our state. We play football games because it's the games that bring us together. Sometimes a football game is not just a game, and tonight we have one of those games. El Paso Eastwood and Plano Senior High from the Cowboy Star in Frisco.
Evil does not win. And tonight, no matter the final score, these two teams and their communities win by playing a football game and coming together as one here at Ford Center in Frisco. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ford Center for the inaugural edition of Thursday Night Lights here on WFAA, our special edition of Thursday Night Lights. I'm Mike Leslie, joined by Dale Hansen. And Dale, we've got a heck of a night in front of us tonight.
Well, we have a very special night. I don't know how good the football game's going to be. Both teams were blown out in their season openers last week, but there's a lot of reasons for that as well. But we know it's going to be a very emotional night. We've already seen that during the Star-Spangled Banner and during the coin toss. The jersey they put out there for one of their former teammates, we'll talk about as we go along. But hopefully a good football game, but an incredibly special night.
Absolutely. The third and fourth members of our broadcast team tonight are Joe Trahan and Cynthia Izaguirre, and we go down to the sideline to Izzy now.
Well, Del, Mike, this crowd is pumped. What an exciting night to be here at the Star in Frisco. El Paso's Eastwood spirit is alive and well. There is so much love and support in these stands. You know, these football players told me yesterday, all they need from the crowd is energy and excitement, and that is exactly what they are getting. I also talked with band members and drill team members this afternoon before the game. The Troopers are so excited about their halftime performance together with Plano Senior High. I saw them practice today, and it is Texas strong. Joe Trahan is live with the home team, and Joe, Wildcat Nation is on fire.
Yeah, Izzy, they're ready to roll. It's an electric atmosphere here. They're ready. You can see the cheerleaders behind me. Kickoff just seconds away. And you know, this night is bigger than football, but in our state, football is more than a game. So it's fitting that on this night, two communities linked by tragedy will be brought together by the game we all love in this state, and it is the word of the night, the hashtag of the night, Texas Strong. You'll see it from these football players. You'll see it from both of these communities. Mike and Dale, back to you.
Tonight, first for Eastwood, you're seeing him right there on your screen. Their quarterback, Christian Castaneda, threw for over 3,000 yards and 33 touchdowns last season. He makes their offense go. Meanwhile, for the Plano Wildcats, their senior running back, Cody Crist. Head coach Jadon McCullough called him a Rex Burkhead-type kid. That is high praise, talking about a young man who went on to play in the pros and has won a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots. Cody Crist will be the bell cow out of the backfield for Plano alongside Tylen Hines. I just mentioned Jadon McCullough, the head coach of the Plano Wildcats, and the head coach for Eastwood is Julio Lopez. Captains tonight, Tony Casignol, Christian Castaneda, Rudy Tellez, and Isaac Pedregon for El Paso Eastwood. And for Plano, Isaiah Calhoun, Cody Crist, and Christian Sabatini. We are ready for kickoff here at Ford Center. El Paso Eastwood and Plano Senior High. Dale, all of the build-up to this moment here.
Well, again, it should be a very special night, and I'm ready to tell that referee to give that kid the ball. He just did, and I'm ready, Mike. Let's go. It's been a long time since I've actually broadcast a high school football game, but none none of the games that I did some 40-plus years ago as special as this one is going to be tonight.
Something to keep a lookout for is onside kicks. El Paso Eastwood, you just saw the run up to the football there. They kicked 6 onside kicks in this matchup last year against Plano. They recovered 4 of them. So definitely keep an eye out for Esteban Holguin. This time, though, he does kick the ball away down the left sideline. And it goes through the legs and out of bounds. I believe that ball was touched by Demarion Lloyd. But they're going to drop the flag there on the sideline.
It looked like he touched it. I mean, how did the ball go between his legs, Mike? He's only 5'3". I mean, he ought to be able to get down and grab that ball, but it went right between his legs, and I think they are going to start back inside that 5-yard line.
The official's still trying to sort it out. I saw a Plano assistant coach here on the near sideline clapping.
Oh, no, they're saying the kick went out of bounds.
That's our referee this evening, Scott Davis, is the crew chief.
I love
still sorting out exactly where they're going to be here.
A little bit of a slow start, obviously, but I love the name J. Don McCullough. If you're going to be a football coach in Texas, and he's been there, this is his 12th year at Plano. If you're going to be a football coach in Texas, I think you start by hiring a guy named J. Don McCullough, and that's what Plano Senior High has done. Yeah, they did bring that ball out to the 30. I thought Damian Lloyd did touch the ball, but they bring it out to the 30-yard line anyway.
So it'll be Oliver Towns, the quarterback for Plano, in shotgun to get things underway here at Ford Center. Quarterback draw for Towns, and Towns has got some running room to the outside, cross the 40 and a first down. Starters for both the offenses and defenses on the field rolling across your screen right now. Eastwood's defense on the field at the moment, their linebacking core. Rudy Tellez is the man to keep an eye out for on the Eastwood side of the football defensively. 5'10", 170-pound junior, the best player on their defense for sure. Their head coach, Julio Lopez, told me they knew he was special since they first saw him when he was in 7th grade. Just has a knack for making plays. You'll see us call number 34's name an awful lot tonight. This time they swing it out to Cody Crist, our player to watch for the Plano Wildcats tonight here on 1st and 10 from the 42, and he's out to the 47.
This is the most amazing stat I think I've ever heard in a football game. Plano Senior High beat Eastwood last year 72-48, right? Plano scores 72 points running 25 plays. Eastwood ran 105 plays in last year's game, and they get beat 72-48.
It was a statistical anomaly in every possible way last year's game. Oliver Towns here on the option pitch out to Cody Crist, cut down a little short of the first down marker. And sure enough, Rudy Tellez involved on the tackle there. Let's go down to the sideline to Cynthia Izaguirre.
Yeah, Mike, Dale, Eastwood High School has a proud tradition of excellence, and all the students who are here are honored to represent the great city of El Paso. Joining me now is the principal at Eastwood High, Mr. David Boatwright. Mr. Boatwright, talk about the importance of tonight's game.
I think it's a chance to have two communities join together. We were both affected by that tragedy in different ways, and I think it's a good unity builder for our communities, definitely.
How does it make you feel to watch this crowd out here tonight? I mean, what's going through your head with all these people who came out from El Paso?
There's a lot of energy. El Paso's like one big family, and we have each other's back, and we support each other. It's just how our school operates as well.
Give us a quick example about how the strength of El Paso has helped the students in the aftermath of this tragedy to feed them.
Well, just at the memorial there at Walmart, we've had different groups and organizations go clean up, flower arrangements, all kinds of things happen. So citywide, we've had some great community service efforts from a lot of different people. Our city council, our mayor, everybody's reached out, and they even brought our team to the city council meeting this past week.
Mr. Boatwright, good luck to you guys tonight.
Thank you.
Mike, Dale, back to you.
Izzy, thanks so much. You saw just a moment ago the completion to Jaden Chambers there. The
5-yard penalty, still first down.
The senior wide receiver from Plano to get the first down, and now an offside penalty here on first down against Eastwood. So 1st and 5 now for Oliver Towns and the Plano offense. Plano likes to run the football. That is going to be the primary way they move the ball down the field. Cody Crist and Tylen Hines, two running backs that kind of drive the ship for them, but they can throw the football with Oliver Towns. Here on 1st and 5, though, it's Crist, very close to, and I believe has the first down.
Well, Mike, they ought to be able to run the football. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me in Texas how big the high school kids are anymore. Their left guard, Jalen Brown, is 225. Dominic Herrera, the center's at 250. The right guard, Jalen Anderson, is 300 pounds. Their right tackle, Sullivan Burns, is 250. And their tight end, Christian Sabatini, he's only 240.
Only, yeah. He can make some plays, too, as that ball's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Nice play by Vince Valdez knocking the ball away. Christian Sabatini, 6'2", 239 pounds. Last year had a touchdown, 171 yards receiving, but he's a kid that has some playmaking ability.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, this is what their coach Julio Lopez was going to say, because their defensive line is small. I mean, up against these big Plano kids.
Yeah.
Like their defensive end, Takeem Thomas, is 175 pounds. Their defensive lineman, Danny Ramos, is 175. The biggest guy they have in that defensive line is Xavier Anderson. He's 250. They think they'll be quick, but obviously they've been too quick twice to get called for being offside.
That ball goes through the hands of Jaden Chambers and out of bounds, but you're right, two different offside penalties on this possession alone, not helping Eastwood's cause in the early going.
Well, it is the problem that Eastwood has. They're a 5A school in El Paso. They've got a high school population of about 2,200, but that's all 4 grades.
Mm-hmm.
Plano Senior High has about 2,800 in just juniors and seniors. Yeah. And the bottom line is, if you're trying to put a football team together with 100 kids, and I've got 300 kids to choose from, I'm probably going to win most of the time. Not every time, but most of the time.
5,100 their total population at Eastwood, at Plano High School, grades 9 through 12, as Cody Crist goes rumbling inside the 15-yard line. Plano moving the football efficiently here on this opening drive with the help of some penalties, yes, but they are opening some holes for Cody Crist.
Well, I could almost run through that one.
And
again,
another offside penalty.
Yeah.
First down.
The third offside penalty. I mean, again, they do have to be quick to compete against the size of that Plano offensive line, but 3 offside penalties, and then you still see on that last run in particular how big the hole is for Crist and these running backs.
Towns on 1st and 10 from the 14, flushed out of the pocket, trying to push his way through the offensive line, and he does across the 5, close to a first down.
Wow, very nice.
He may have first down yardage. Oliver Towns, he can throw the football, but he's maybe more dangerous with his legs, and he just showed it there.
Yeah, they had 3 guys that had a bit of a chance, but he got out free to his left side, and then he dragged a couple of defenders about an extra 4 or 5 yards to get the ball down to the 2.
About 3.5 minutes in here at the Ford Center, and Oliver Towns and company knocking on the door. Hand off to Crist.
Oh, yeah.
Fights his way in. Touchdown, Plano.
That's going to be their big advantage. That offensive line is big. It is strong, and the kids from Eastwood are a little bit undersized, and they're going to have trouble trying to stop this running game of Plano. And Plano Senior High goes right down the field, 70 yards for the first score, the first time they get the ball.
It was something that Eastwood had struggles with a year ago as well. You mentioned that Plano only ran 25 plays and yet scored 72 points as the extra point is up and through. Many of those drives were one play, handoff, and down the field they'd go. Kyron Cumbie certainly a part of that. Plano off to a 7-0 lead here at Ford Center. You're watching Thursday Night Lights on WFAA.
Hi, I'm Jonah Javad, WFAA sports anchor and reporter at our studio, or our newsroom, I should say, here in Dallas. We'll get you back to the Plano-Eastwood game in just a couple minutes here. But obviously an emotional night for not just the communities of Plano and in El Paso, but across the state of Texas. Wherever you're joining us from, please be sure to let us know on our Facebook live stream. We want to hear from you because we know we've got viewers not just across from the entire state, but from across the country as well. So be sure to let us know in the comments there. We've already got one from Cheryl Griffiths. Texas strong. This makes my heart smile and my eyes leak. That's certainly the sentiment this evening. Emotional night, obviously. National anthem, moment of silence before the game as the two communities came together. Just a couple of minutes ago, you heard from El Paso Eastwood principal David Boatwright, and he said El Paso is one big family. I know from personal experience, if you know anyone from the city, that's spot on. So it's great that not only these two schools could come together, but a lot of other people could join in making this such a wonderful event this evening. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is on hand this evening, wanted to support El Paso in any way he could. And of course, this game being played at the Star in Frisco. But again, we want to thank all of you. We have raised more than $100,000 for the victims of the mass shooting that took place in El Paso. And you can still really help us in this push if you just go to WFAA.com. You'll find the information there to find the t-shirt, Don't Hate in My State. It's just $23, and again, it goes to help the victims in El Paso. Let's get you back out to the action here. First quarter, Dale and Mike, take it away.
Back at Ford Center, and you see earlier today as El Paso Eastwood was making their way into the stadium, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones greeting every member of the team with a handshake and a smile. This has been a moment for the state to come together, and the Cowboys certainly involved in all of this, welcoming these two teams into their practice facility, and certainly the Frisco ISD plays as well. Frisco deserving some credit in this as well. Plano set to kick it off, up 7-0 here at Ford Center. Diego Santibanez sending it deep. From 2 yards deep in his own end zone, Eastwood bringing it out in the hands of Justin Gutierrez, and he's taken down at the 10-yard line. Perhaps not the right decision to take the ball out of the end zone there.
Well, he was only about a yard deep in the end zone, but look at this right here, where he hesitates right around the 10-yard line. He had a little more running room there, not a lot. As it turned out, obviously, he should have just stayed down there. But I think he thought he had enough room to get it out a little further than that.
So the first possession for Eastwood starts at their own 10-yard line. Christian Castaneda standing in the shadow of his own end zone. In shotgun on 1st and 10, and quarterback draw swallowed up briefly, but then spins away across the 15 and a pickup of 8.
Yeah, that's 8 all on him. Castaneda gets hit hard about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I thought he was down, and then just spins. Out he goes and gets 8 yards all by himself.
Victor Solano had him briefly, but not for long enough. And now this is what Eastwood does.
Yeah, here we go.
Quick to the line of scrimmage. Castaneda swings it out on the right-hand side for Gray Romero, and that's a first down for Eastwood.
Yeah, you won't need me for a while, Mike. I think you're on your own here.
1st and 10 for Eastwood at the 29-yard line is where they're going to spot it. Castaneda will spend most of the night in shotgun. That ball appeared to be caught at the 34-yard line. Indeed it was. It's Gray Romero once again.
Well, their coach, Julio Lopez, said again about Christian Castaneda, it all begins and ends with him. I mean, when they got on that bus, if he doesn't get on the bus, they don't come up here to play.
Castaneda out on the right-hand side to Gray Romero again, and yet another first down for Eastwood. I do want to mention we talked about being on WFAA tonight. We are on the air in many locations around the state. KVIA, the ABC affiliate in El Paso, simulcasting the game tonight, and we are streaming on digital in all 11 Tegna, Texas markets as Christian Castaneda takes it across the 45-yard line. So across the state of Texas, you can watch this game tonight. Let's go to the sideline to Joe Trahan.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. And I'm joined now by Sarah Bonzer, who is the superintendent of Plano Schools, as well as Tammy Richards, who's the president of the Board of Trustees. And Mrs. Bonzer, let me start with you. And when you think about this night, now that we've kicked it off and we're here, what does this night mean to Plano and its schools?
You know, I think for Plano ISD and Isleta ISD, this is an opportunity to show kids unity and how we can take a tragic event and turn it into an opportunity for hope and healing. So we're thrilled for the kids.
And the kids have already done a fantastic job at that. The show of unity before kickoff was fantastic. And Tammy, I heard one parent from Plano say that they wanted to show Plano's identity with this event. How would you describe Plano's identity?
We're a community that cares. We're a community that embraces children. We love that we're embracing the children of two communities. Our drill team actually made little welcome bags for their drill team. It's a matter of being us, and so we're so excited that we can show our heart to the people of El Paso.
And when you talk about these kids, I mean, educating these kids and making sure that they're well-rounded is more than just the education, right? It's empowering them to make change. Can you talk from those terms, how these students showed you just how impactful they can be with the way they help pull this event off?
Well, you know, our kids were committed from the very start in showing El Paso their hearts. They played last year, so these are their friends from another part of our state. And so when the tragedy happened, they immediately reached out to say, how can we make this special for them? And so we're very thankful that they're having the opportunity to show one another how to be compassionate and caring and to pull together as a team to show support for someone or friends in another part of the state who are suffering. And compassion and healing and kindness are important lessons for kids to learn.
All right, thanks so much. We got a big play. Let's throw it back up to Mike and Dale. You guys, back to you.
Joe, thanks a lot. That is Christian Castaneda finding Nathan Samaniego in the end zone for the touchdown. A little pump and go, and Samaniego was wide open in the end zone.
Yeah, somebody in that Plano secondary made a mistake, obviously, but just a nice throw. And what a great drive. I mean, both offenses, and you said this earlier, that we might have another high-scoring game. 72-48 last year, and we're certainly on our way to that. They're taking a little bit longer to score this year than they did last.
Just a little.
But they both had the ball once, and both teams have scored. I want to talk about that decision while we have just a moment waiting for the extra point. There's a timeout called by Plano, I believe it was. But I still don't understand why the game was originally canceled, but they made a quick reversal on that decision, the Plano school officials, and I think without question made the right decision. And the fact that they then moved the game here to the Ford Center where the Cowboys practice turned out to be even better. I mentioned earlier that it was about 100 degrees in North Texas today. It's still in the 90s tonight. Now we're inside.
Yeah.
The Eastwood kids had a short week. They've lost a day here, but I don't think they're complaining about it too much. And obviously, based on that first drive anyway, the short week didn't hurt them much. They made the long bus ride up, and they brought a tremendous amount of fan support with them.
Yeah.
From about the goal line, 70 yards on that far side of the field is filled with El Paso fans.
And they just are on the verge of tying this game up. Out on the field for the extra point is Esteban Holguin. And he doesn't.
Oh, he got it. Okay.
He just barely snuck it inside that left goalpost and ties this game up at 7 points apiece. Just about the midway point of the first quarter, both teams have scored touchdowns on their opening drive. 7-7 midway through. Back at Ford Center, tied at 7 here in the early going. Both teams driving down the field for touchdowns on their opening drive. 72-48 the score last year, and we're on that pace already.
Yeah, well, we could get there. I love that. Coming out of that last commercial break, though, we saw Cowboys owner Jerry Jones meeting all the kids in El Paso. I thought that was an incredibly nice touch by Jones. Would have been even nicer if some of the football players had managed to hang around for a bit. Yeah. But Jones being there and inviting the kids to play on this particular field, I think it's just another example of how the community has gotten involved to support the game itself.
No onside kick this time from Eastwood. Demarion Lloyd back to retrieve it. Across the 20, fights his way through a couple tackles and out to the 23. And that's where Oliver Towns and company will get started.
You know, we mentioned earlier tonight as well. I mean, the Eastwood team was hosted to an early dinner at 4 o'clock at Campese's. Mm-hmm. Normally famous for their pizza, but David Campese is a good friend of mine. I said, "You're going to feed them full of pizza at 4 o'clock?" I mean, they are high school kids, but no, they had chicken, pasta, salads, the whole bit. And then tonight after the game, the Eastwood team and the parents and their fans all go up to the main event for bowling and zip lining and video games and more food. So I think they're going to leave here feeling pretty good about North Texas.
No doubt. They are high school kids, though, like you say. At 16, 17 years old, you could probably eat just about anything and go out and play a football game.
Yeah.
Tylen Hines getting just outside the 30-yard line.
Well, I want to mention what a nice thing that was, though, because I'm still hoping that David will send a pizza my way before long. Yeah, but I thought that was a nice touch. And then, you know, when the main event got involved as well, and Jerry Jones and the people of Frisco here getting this facility available, it all came together. That the original decision was wrong to cancel it, but it's turned out to be even better than I think anybody thought.
Up the middle goes Cody Crist, and Crist has got a lot of running room. Cutbacks across the 45 and down inside the 25-yard line. Finally dragged down inside the 20. Cody Crist continuing to pace this Plano offense.
Well, when his coach Jadon McCullough compares him to Rex Burkhead, that's pretty good territory. Yeah. Burkhead went on to Nebraska, which I'm a little partial to. That he left Plano and played his college football at Nebraska, then went on and ends up winning a Super Bowl with the Patriots. You get your name as a Plano running back in the same sentence of Rex Burkhead, you better be special, and obviously apparently he is.
Last year, 286 yards and 4 touchdowns. This year, had 77 yards and a touchdown last week. That ball needed to get up a little more, and it would have been 6 points, but underthrown was Nolan Williams by Oliver Towns, and it's incomplete. We do have a flag down, though, on the far sideline. See what Scott Davis has to say about that.
Here's another thing I find, apparently it looks to be against Plano. The
looks like it.
Coaches on the Eastwood side are saying.
On the offense, 5 players in the backfield. That penalty decline. Second down.
This you don't see very often in 6A football, a school the size of Plano. Cody Crist is, you know, like an all-district linebacker as well.
Yeah.
And they're saying when they get into district play, they'll probably have him going both ways.
Yes.
I mean, very, very seldom do you. In my day, in my little small town, we all played both ways. I didn't play much, but you had to play both ways. You very seldom see it here. And here's Crist, their best running back, also maybe their best linebacker.
This time it goes to Tylen Hines, and he's cut down in the backfield. And sure enough, Rudy Tellez in the backfield making the play. Yeah, Crist, though, is very, very talented on both sides of the football. He's going to be probably their leading ball carrier. He and Hines will split a lot of the carries, but Crist figures to get a little bit more of the action out of the backfield. But like you say, once they get into district play, he'll flip back on the other side of the ball and play linebacker, where he was all district at outside linebacker in 2018. 3rd down and long now. Oliver Towns scoops it up, fires it into the end zone, but out of bounds. That was a broken play from the jump.
Yeah.
And now 4th and 11 forthcoming.
It was almost amazing. I thought his knee was going to go down when he was trying to pick up the low snap. I mean, you'll see the ball just starts rolling back to him almost, and he gets real close right there. And I thought his knee might have touched if they looked at it. But he managed to apparently keep his knee off the ground, picks up the ball and just heaves it into the end zone. And now it's 4th down, and I don't think they're not going to kick it from here. No, they're going to have to just run a play. At the 21-yard line, be about a 40-plus yard kick. They're not going to try that far.
Yeah, from here, looks like it'd be almost 40, 38 yards from right here. Oliver Towns, though, scooped up on the backfield, but he breaks away. Only momentarily. Flags fly. No. Now he throws it out on the near side, and it's incomplete. There were multiple flags that flew in there, so we'll have to sort this one out. But
I think they got a face mask. I think this is going to go against Eastwood, and this is a horrible break for those kids. They had Towns wrapped up. They had the play completely stopped, and I think they grabbed, one of the Eastwood kids grabbed the face mask of Towns.
Personal foul, face mask.
Oh, wow.
Defense number 34.
Man, I see everything up here. I see everything.
It's a back-breaking penalty, though, because that's 4th and 12.
Yeah.
Should be a turnover on downs. They played the play beautifully. Vince Valdez had him in the backfield. Rudy Tellez involved in the play as well. Multiple players surrounding Oliver Towns. Nowhere for him to go. But there's the face mask.
Yeah, there's
right
the face
there.
mask right there. But Towns did an unbelievable job just to stay on his feet and keep the play alive. But the face mask was very obvious, and it gives Plano a new set of downs.
And now they go Wildcat with Cody Crist out of the backfield, and Crist has got himself across the 10 and no further.
Well, these kids from Eastwood might be a little bit small up front compared to the size of that Plano offensive line, but on this drive anyway, they're hanging in pretty tough. And it is what their coach Julio Lopez talked about, that they thought, even though they were smaller in the defensive line, that their quickness might give the bigger kids from Plano some problems, and at least on the last few plays, it certainly has.
2nd and 8 now, just inside the 10-yard line. Crist again in the Wildcat. Little hesitation, and he gets across the 5. Good patience from Crist there in the backfield to just allow the blocks to develop and then scoot forward. And that brings up 3rd and short.
I'm not sure in this game, at least the way we've started this first quarter, I'm not sure you can afford to kick field goals.
Probably not.
They might just want to give those up, but we're going for 7 every time.
Eastwood's kicker Esteban Holguin will kick. If they're inside 40, they'll try and kick a field goal with him. Aiden Christensen is the kicker for Plano there. As Crist punches his way forward and in. Cody Crist with touchdown number 2 of the day.
Just another nice job by those Plano offensive line on that left side. It had a lot of running room. He does get hit, Crist does, at about the 1-yard line or so, but he was going to score by then. They opened up that left side. They just seal everything off. He gets hit pretty good at about the 1, but they weren't going to stop Crist there for the touchdown.
Cody Crist driving right through a would-be tackler. Looked like Pat Avila tried to slide in there right at the goal line and take him down, but too much momentum from Cody Crist, and Plano goes in front 14-7.
You know, Mike, we were talking about all the emotion surrounding this game, and when Eastwood lost 63-0 last week, they lost to a very good and another 6A school, El Paso Americas. But as Lopez said, their kids were so distracted by everything surrounding the game. And then on top of everything else, with all the attention of the game being canceled and then being brought back and then being televised in North Texas as well as around the state of Texas, one of their former teammates, wide receiver Eddie Cruz, who went to Western New Mexico to play his college football, drowned. And before the game, they brought his jersey out, his jersey from last year, and placed it at midfield during all the warm-up drills. I mean, I don't know how much you could ask a group of young kids to deal with. I mean, you had the shooting that killed 22 people. You lose a teammate to drowning. And, this just isn't supposed to be part of your 17, 18-year-old life. And then on top of it, all the concerns and all the possibilities of this is too dangerous to play. It was a former Plano student that did the shooting. And yet, so far anyway, everybody's showed up and playing well.
Kickoff here from Diego Santibáñez goes deep into the end zone, and Eastwood this time will kneel on it and bring the ball out. You mentioned the jersey before the game of Eddie Cruz. It was Christian Castaneda, the quarterback for Eastwood, that carried the jersey out onto the field. The two were very close, a quarterback-wide receiver tandem that scored an awful lot of touchdowns together over the course of Cruz and Castaneda's careers. And the tweets from Christian, from frankly the entire team from the Eastwood Troopers over the course of Monday night into Tuesday, as they all learned that their former teammate had passed away, were frankly crushing to read.
The officials are sitting here at about the 16-yard line. Didn't he pick up the ball and run into the end zone?
He did. He ran backward into the end zone to take a knee.
You can't do that, can you?
They're going to say it's a safety, yeah.
I just kind of looked back, and you said the ball was in the end zone.
The receiving team dribbled the ball in the field play, ran the ball back into the end zone.
Yeah.
That resulted in a safety.
I'm sitting there saying, where's my high school referee official that I can double check the rules on this? But I thought, wait a minute, you can't do that. He could have, unfortunately, let the ball keep rolling, and I think it probably would have rolled into the end zone. Then he could have downed it. But he picked it up, as the official said, in the field of play, then just ran backwards to take the knee for some reason. The play made no sense, unfortunately. And now they're going to have to just kick it away, and down 7, they're going to have to give the ball right back to Plano, and they haven't shown any ability to stop him yet.
And now down 9 thanks to the 2 points from the safety.
Well, 9 with the safety, exactly right, yeah.
It's the way that rules have changed with kickoffs over the course of the last decade in the NFL, at the college level and at the high school level. I can understand the confusion. I believe what he could have done was just call for a fair catch, and that would have brought the ball out the same that a touchback would. But what he did, obviously not permissible. And I'm honestly surprised that it took as long as it did for everybody to realize. I saw Jadon McCullough, though, the head coach from Plano, giving a high five to one of his assistant coaches, who must have been the one who noticed and alerted the officials to what happened there, and it leads to 2 points and a free possession, really, for Plano, too.
I'm sitting there as I see it because of what you just said. I mean, they're doing everything they can to protect players on kickoffs. Right. I thought, well, maybe that is a high school rule, you know?
So with that, it's going to be exceptional field position for Plano as they're taken down at the 47-yard line. Dylan Davis bringing out. That's the backup quarterback, in fact, for Plano.
Well, now we've got just a little more than 2 minutes to play in this first quarter, but this is where, unfortunately, a football game can tend to get away from you. I mean, it should have been a 7-point game. Eastwood should have had their second opportunity with the ball, and they had a great drive with their opening drive to score. But now you're down 9, and Plano's only got to go about 46 yards to get another touchdown.
Right.
Eastwood needs to make a stop to keep the game close. Please do, boys. Please do.
You could see the frustration, too, on the face of Julio Lopez just a moment ago when he was on camera. This time they swing it out to Christian Sabatini inside the 40. Close to a first down, but not quite. Sabatini's another, there's 2 talented tight ends in this football game. Nathan Samaniego and Christian Sabatini, both of them can make plays in the passing game, and you'll see these 2 quarterbacks in some ways rely on these 2 targets. Both of them are very talented and can create some opportunities in the middle of the field.
Well, you know Sabatini is, because he's headed to LSU next year.
Oliver Towns looking deep down the left sideline. Incomplete. Looking for Jaden Chambers. It looked briefly like there may have been a chance for Nathan Carranza to intercept it, but a little overthrown for anybody down that left sideline.
You know, Sabatini also had offers, from the Army. So you know you're also talking about a smart kid.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a couple of kids on both sides of this ball that, and the tight ends in particular that you talk about, that getting some looks from Ivy League schools. I like that. You know, I'm glad that you're a great player, but I'm even more impressed when you're a really good student as well.
Cody Crist, one of those that's getting looks from the Ivies, is Tylen Hines, his backfield mate, swallowed up in the backfield. It was Rudy Tejas that led the charge once again for this Troopers defense.
And he never did go down. He never did actually go to the ground. But he only had 6 guys on him.
And that's going to bring up 4th down and 5.
Well, that Tejas is special, though, isn't he? I mean, he's all around the ball. I mean, we haven't played a quarter of football yet. We've called his name out about 4 times. I mean, he's always there, it seems like.
Tejas and Takeem Thomas in on that play as well. So 4th and 5 here for Plano.
I like this. Julio Lopez said about Tejas. I saw him in 7th grade. I knew he was special.
Yeah. Towns over the middle, too tall and incomplete. And Eastwood comes up with the big stop that
wow,
we're saying they needed.
That's very big. That's very big. Yeah, this game easily could have gotten away from them, and they come up and they make a great stop. The 2 passes, not much chance to complete either one of those throws. The running play was stuffed by Tejas and the rest of that Eastwood defense. That was a very big stop by them.
The 2 points do hurt, but that defensive stop in a lot of ways negates that free possession that Plano was able to garner. You're still down 9 instead of 7 as you should have been, but now Eastwood in almost the situation they should have been, back with the football in their hands, and Christian Castaneda with 3 wide receivers to the top of the formation here as they get started 1st and 10 at their own 41. Castaneda's going to take it himself. Just lowers his head into two would-be tacklers. And
I don't think many high school teams play this way anymore because it's such an offensive-driven game. But, you know, they give them a lot of field position. They could have kicked it away and kicked it back deep on that fourth down play.
Yeah.
Because it was about 4th and, 6 or 7 at least.
It was 4th and 5, yeah.
4th and 5. And, you know, the odds of completing that weren't real good. They give up a lot of field position, but I think they realize they need a lot of points if they're going to win this game. Both teams do.
Already 23 on the board, and we're winding down in the first quarter here. Castaneda looks over the middle and in and out of the hands of Nathan Samaniego. That ball was thrown before he had made his break, and he wasn't quite prepared for it.
Now, it was right on top of him just as he turned around. I mean, it was a good throw. I mean, it's right on the money, but the young man was just turning around and hits him in the chest and wasn't able to make the catch.
So 3 seconds on the clock here, 3rd down and 8. For Castaneda and company for the final play of the opening frame. 4 wides for the senior quarterback. Swings it on the right-hand side for Samaniego, but he's going to be taken down short of the first down marker. So it's going to be 4th and short for Eastwood as the second quarter begins on the other side of this break. 16-7 in favor of Plano. We're through 1 quarter of play on Thursday Night Lights.
Welcome back into another game break at the end of 1 quarter of play. Plano is on top 16-7 over El Paso Eastwood. We'll get you back to the game in about 90 seconds or so. Be sure to let us know in the Facebook comments where you're watching this game from, not only if you're in Texas or in El Paso or here in Dallas-Fort Worth area, but across the entire country. I know we've got some folks from California and Seattle also watching this evening's game. Coming up after the end of this break, we'll hear from Margo, the El Paso mayor, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Also, in case you missed it, we spoke with the Plano superintendent as well as the president of the Board of Trustees. And one thing that really stood out to me there, their thoughts on the Plano students and how they really thought they were leading by example here, showing that they can show compassion and support for another team across the state because, as they alluded to, they are friends. They have played each other before, so this goes much beyond than just a game. You know, people like to throw around the phrase just a game, but I think anyone who's watching tonight knows it's far from just that. Of course, if you're wondering how you can help the victims of the El Paso shooting, be sure to go to WFAA.com/don'thate. You can get a $23 shirt that supports the victims of the shooting. We've got it right here. It's soft. It's comfortable. I have one. Wouldn't you like one too? It says, "Don't hate in my state." Again, the proceeds go to benefit the victims of the El Paso mass shooting. We've raised over $100,000 already from the t-shirts. We hope we can raise some more. And we hope you enjoy the second quarter of play here. We're going to send it back to Dale and Mike in just a moment.
Are 1-1. And we're going to be 1-1, right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody say win.
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 Jayden McCullough, the head coach of the Plano Wildcats. Back at Ford Center for 4th down and 4 for Christian Castaneda and company. Castaneda is the punter for Eastwood, so they may be going for it. They also may be quick kicking here, but he's awfully close to the line of scrimmage at the moment.
Yeah.
He could certainly back up at a moment's notice, but
They got to kick this ball, don't they?
He's got 5 wide receivers, 2 to the near side, 3 to the far side. They are going to go for it. Little QB draw. Spins out of the first tackle. He's close. Looks like it'll mark him short.
Yeah, he didn't get it. Wow.
Christian Castaneda short of the first down marker. Plano with the 4th down stop. And the Wildcats take the ball back at midfield. Let's go to the sideline to Joe Trahan.
Thanks so much, Mike. I'm joined now by a couple of pillars of Plano football, Gerald Brentz and Tom Kimbrough. Coach Brentz, of course, is the athletic director now. Can you talk about what this football team kind of went through, Coach, and how proud you are of what these young men have been able to do and make this night happen?
Well, this is the second year that we played. We played last year. We had a great game. Plano won 73-48. It rained. We had cats and dogs and lightning, and we had a lightning. We were worried that they were going to come all the way from El Paso, and they might not even get to play the game. But they hung in there and did a great job. And the kids know each other. They played each other. When everything transpired this summer, I think they communicated. And we're really proud of the kids. They did a good job. Both teams really had a tough week last week, but they bounced back and they're playing hard and they're doing a good job.
And of course, Coach Kimbrough is such a fixture in Plano. You've been here for so many years, Coach. I wanted to know your thoughts about what the community has done, how they galvanized, worked with the folks from Eastwood, and how you guys made this game a reality.
Well, first of all, is Dale really here?
Dale is here. Yes, he is, Coach.
Can you hear me?
He can hear you.
You know, I'm so happy that he came out because, you know, I know that I'm not the oldest one in the house right now because Dale's here.
Shots fired.
So I want to thank him for that. He would always send George Reba out. He never came out to see my games, and I coached for about 35 years. So it's good to have him wherever he is. Seriously here, you know, I want to thank WFAA for coming out and taking a Thursday night of prime time to address high school football. It's quite an honor, and it's really appreciated, I know, by the community and certainly by me. And also, I know I'm ribbing Dale a little bit. I can't think of anyone that has emphasized high school football like he has over the years. And I go back, you can tell by looking at me, a long time, but he was really special, and he's always meant to do that. So we appreciate that. And I also want to tell you how much I'm thankful for our own superintendent. She made some hard choices. She's a class lady, and she had the courage to do what she thought was right, and I supported her both times. And I tell you what, I'm sort of glad we're in here to tell you the truth. It's 101 degrees outside, and it's not that at Kimbrough Stadium, I can assure you.
That's right. Coach, we're going to get back to the action. These are two greats when it comes to Plano football. Gentlemen, thanks so much for the time. Thanks so much for what you've done for this community and helping make this game tonight a reality. Guys, back to you.
Their second charge timeout. Hey, Joe, thanks. Mike, you see there why I didn't go out there a lot? I mean, Tom Kimbrough scared me. I was a young man. He was a younger coach. I was a younger man. Going up to Plano when Kimbrough was coaching, he ran such a great program. And I was just kind of scared to show up, so I sent the great George Reba up there instead most times.
Logical.
I went there a couple of times.
He does the same thing with me all the time.
Introduce our guest, sir.
Meanwhile, in the booth here with us right now, just joining us as the second quarter is getting underway, is the mayor of El Paso, Margo. Thanks so much for joining us.
You bet. It's good to be here.
What has this month been like for you and for the city of El Paso?
Well, to use the term surreal would be an underestimation of that. You know, it's been 1 month and 3 days. So we're still kind of in a semi-shock method. We only finished the last funeral a week ago. And so we're going to start the healing process. And this is a start.
Hey, wait a minute. Somebody actually going to punt the ball here, Mike?
Plano is indeed going to punt the football, I believe.
Well, at least we think so.
It appears, yes. Indeed they do. Their punter is Cody Crist, their running back. That ball hit a kid from Eastwood, and he smartly dives on it out of bounds. That ball ricocheted off of Jonah Wheeler.
Mayor, is there 2 years you've been in this job? Is there anything that can possibly prepare you to be the mayor of a city that has to deal with a tragedy like that?
I don't believe so, Dale. I honestly don't believe so. I told our police chief, you have training in active shooters. I don't. So we've just been taking it one day at a time and trying to figure out it as we go along.
Yeah, I saw recently there's been one lawsuit filed against Walmart. But in this day and age, is there anything, and I don't want to get in too much trouble with the lawsuit in progress, but is there anything that a store like Walmart could have done or should have done?
Well, I can't comment on. I mean, that's a corporate decision on their part, but I think if you looked at any statistics on crime and concerns and everything else, you would see that store and El Paso would not rise to the level of needing extra security. I mean, we've been ranked as one of the safest cities in the nation for a number of years. We're either number 1, number 2, or number 3.
When they canceled the game originally, what was the reaction in El Paso?
We thought it was tragic because it was a chance to bring people together, and I think it was, with all due respect to the Plano ISD, it was a knee-jerk response without a lot of thought behind it. And when time sat in and they had a chance to think about what had transpired and what it meant, I think, and then all the changes that we've made here, this actually turned out to be better than I think it would have been if they just played the game.
Yeah, I do too. I really do.
Eastwood out across the 30-yard line just a moment ago, thanks to Mark Graham. Unfortunately, the reality is your community is not the only community in Texas that is recently dealing with a mass shooting like this. As the mayor of a community that has just gone through this, what would your message be to the community of Midland, Odessa?
Well, I've spoken to the county judge of Ector County in Odessa. I've spoken to the mayor of Midland and the mayor of Odessa. And I think our overarching premise is that this will not define us as a community. It doesn't define El Paso. It won't define Midland or Odessa. We had a random act of evil, and they had a random act of somebody who was a nutcase.
You know what I found amazing? You got an El Paso school. Was it El Paso Franklin, Mike? Isn't it El Paso Franklin?
El Paso Franklin is playing
Odessa Permian tonight.
Yes.
I mean, what are the odds on that kind of nonsense?
The idea that four different communities, three different communities could have connections to mass shootings like this, Plano, El Paso, and Midland, Odessa, and all three have schools playing each other, four different schools playing each other in two different games on the same exact night at the same exact time. It's a little spooky, honestly.
All right, Mike, I'm drawing a line here. If Castaneda doesn't kick this ball away on 4th down, now I'm calling for a new coach. No, okay.
Flag flies in, but it did appear he was about to punt the football.
Yeah. It is a nice little weapon to have when you get your good running quarterback.
On the offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
A good running quarterback and a good throwing quarterback who also happens to be your punter. And as you mentioned, they like to do onside kicks. So I'm pretty sure we might see that fake punt come out of that side of the ball here eventually.
In other words, neither of the, well, in no way, shape, or form does El Paso Eastwood not want to be on offense. They want to have the football at all times. This time a traditional punt. Castaneda sends it away across the 50-yard, just shy of the 50-yard line, and it checks up there and is down at the 49-yard line. The mayor of El Paso, Margo. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you being here with us and
thank you.
Sharing what this has all been like.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your all support. Thank you, Dale.
Good luck, young man.
We will be back on Thursday Night Lights right after this.
They're absolutely excited because their team is winning. It's 16-7 right now. We're about midway through the second quarter. And if you've been paying attention with the effort at WFAA, we've been selling these Don't Hate in My State t-shirts. You can still get them at WFAA.com. It's been part of the fundraising project that we've done. And I got to tell you, I'm proud of my station because we've done a fantastic job. In about a month, we've raised more than $100,000 for the El Paso Victims Relief Fund. It's been great stuff. And so now we're going to have some fun. But before we do, we got to introduce Camden here, who's going to tell us what this has been like. Camden, how much fun has this been for you and your cheerleader teammates?
Honestly, this has been nothing less but grateful. I'm so happy that I get to cheer with these amazing and beautiful ladies. This is just a great experience, bonding over the love for each other and just having a good time.
And then welcoming in El Paso Eastwood. What has that been like for you guys?
Honestly, we show nothing but love and support for them. You know, we bond over our struggles and we get better, we get stronger. So honestly, I love this game. The whole experience is just uplifting and warming for me. Yeah.
Very well said, Camden. Camden's got a future. All right, now let's throw some T-shirts. Come on, let's go. Let's throw some T-shirts. Hey, you guys want T-shirts? T-shirts? Here we go. Let's throw some T-shirts.
You might be a trooper. We are troopers. But tonight, you represent a city and a town that is rooting hard for you.
El Paso Eastwood head coach Julio Lopez with a message for his team before the game. Very special stuff as Oliver Towns takes it up the middle here on 1st and 10 from midfield.
Mayor Margo just made a point to me as she's walking away there that the shooting in El Paso does not define El Paso. The fact that the kid who did the shooting is a Plano senior high former student does not define Plano. High school football, though, does define Texas.
Yeah.
And the fact that they managed to get this game back on and bring everybody together makes it so much better than the original decision to cancel.
2nd and 3, and Oliver Towns is going deep. He's got Jaden Chambers down the left sideline.
Wow.
Touchdown, Plano.
What a throw. What a great throw by Towns. Wow.
42 yards down the left sideline. Oliver Towns to Jaden Chambers. And it's 22-7, Wildcats in front.
Wow, that was a perfect throw. I mean, Chambers gets behind the secondary. Towns just puts it up and right in stride. What a great throw. Great catch, great throw. And now they open up the lead again.
Out for the extra point is Aiden Christensen, and it's up and through. So 23-7 our score now. 7 minutes, 25 seconds to play here in the second quarter. And let's go down to the sideline to Cynthia Izaguirre.
You know, Mike, with their strong supporters and alumni all over North Texas, Eastwood High has a great crowd. And head football coach Julio Lopez says they're going to need to feed off of this crowd. Joining me now is the coach's wife, Kalina, and his 4-year-old daughter, Peyton. And Kalina, thanks for being here with us. And Plano just scored another touchdown. What do you think is going through your husband's mind?
I think it's for the kids to keep having fun. I think that's the goal here. They've been through so much this past month. You have to remember they're still kids, and we want them to come out and just have fun and enjoy themselves.
What was it like preparing for this game in your household? I mean, no pressure here, a game that's broadcast all over the state of Texas.
You know, this past month has been crazy. It's been a lot, and like I said, they're kids, and the good thing with sports is that it teaches them different life lessons. And it's not always about the wins and the losers, but what are they going to learn from this? These kids have been through so much, and that they can show up here and have unity with another community when our community is so down right now, and show strength for our community. That's the goal at the end of this.
Kalina, Peyton, thanks for joining us tonight. We're Texas strong. Mike, Dale.
Izzy, thanks so much. Angel Santos here on the kickoff return, driven out of bounds at the 15-yard line. You know, you made the point a moment ago that, you know, these communities aren't represented by what happened in their communities, and Plano itself. The fact that the shooter happened to go to Plano High School is not representative of Plano as a town or Plano Senior High School as a school. Everybody's got to be from somewhere.
But I think
he just happened to be from there.
I think there were some people in the Plano community who were perceiving it that way, or thought that it would be perceived that way. I think that's what led to the original decision to cancel the game. But obviously they made the right decision, and I think it's turning out great. I want to mention what happened before the game in just a moment after this first play here.
Christian Castaneda getting started here, 1st and 10 from his own 15. Stepping up in the pocket, flag flies. Scoots across the 20 to the 23 before he's slung down by Gavin Brand, but we'll check the flag.
Yeah, it's going to be holding. They're going to bring that one back.
Holding on the offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
They brought, I'm sorry, Mike, they brought everybody out before the game for the coin toss. I mean, everybody out.
Yeah.
Both benches emptied. And they had everybody in the center of the field, and they were high-fiving and hugging one another. Then they all lined up, like almost every other player, a Plano player, an Eastwood player.
Replay first down.
Lining up for the national anthem, and it just showed how two communities can come together, and how you can make it about the unity of two communities who are dealing with tragedies at both ends. Much worse in El Paso, obviously, but I do think there were a lot of people in Plano concerned about the fact that the shooter came from their high school.
Those concerns, I would hope at this point, have been assuaged by the way that this night has gone and by the way that these two communities have indeed come together.
I would hope so, and certainly think so.
Another flag flies in here on 1st and 18. It was half the distance to the goal on that holding penalty a moment ago. There's been an awful lot of laundry on the field tonight.
You saw just a moment ago the T-shirts that a lot of people in the stands have. You know, don't hate in my state. And we've been selling those shirts all over Texas, and we'll have a check presentation at halftime.
Got an eligible receiver downfield.
Wow.
22 was covered up, half the distance to the goal, replay the down.
So back-to-back half the distance to the goal penalties against Eastwood, and that's going to knock them inside the 5-yard line. Those T-shirts, you can buy them at WFAA.com/don'thate. $23 per shirt. All proceeds go to the Paso del Norte Foundation's El Paso Victims Relief Fund. The money that we've raised with these T-shirts in conjunction with Bull Zerk, in excess of $100,000. And like you mentioned, that check will be presented in just a little bit at halftime. Castaneda with first and a mile here after back-to-back penalties, and they hand it off up the middle.
And the Plano High School kids have also been raising money for El Paso charities. I mean, it's not just T-shirt sales. I mean, the community and the kids at Plano have gotten behind the cause. And I'm still, Mike, in all seriousness, I'm still just a little bit stunned. Saying, the mayor pointing out that they just had the last funeral in El Paso for the last victim last week.
Yeah.
I mean, think what kind of a month that has been in El Paso.
22 victims of that shooting, 24 more injured.
And we don't make it a month before 7 more are shot in Odessa.
Castaneda rolling out on the near side, throws it down the sideline. Out of bounds, but he makes the catch. He definitely ran out of bounds, and that's what the entire Plano sideline is hollering about right now. Gray Romero ran out of bounds, came back inbounds to make that catch. They're going to have to decide whether he was forced out of bounds or not.
No.
Beautiful throw from Christian Castaneda.
It's too good a play to have a penalty wipe it out. Let this one go. Let this one go. Oh, what a great throw and catch.
Officials still sorting this one out. Referee Scott Davis, umpire Brad Gant talking things over.
Well, they brought the ball up. Now, that doesn't make any sense. They brought the ball up to the 28-yard line. How would you put it at the 28? Just decide, it was such a big play, but we just don't want to call it, so we'll give you half of it?
We'll give you half the
play. we can't give you all of it, but we'll give you half of it.
Here we go. We're going to get an explanation here.
This doesn't make any sense.
I think.
Explain it to me, sir.
Receiver on El Paso went out of bounds on his own, was the first to touch the ball. The enforcement for that is a loss of down from the previous spot, 3rd down.
Julio Lopez is incensed. Out on the field almost to the hash mark.
Yeah, we've got 2 quarters to go here, Coach. But, I mean, if you saw, I didn't see him go out of bounds, but you saw him go out of bounds, right?
No, he certainly went out of bounds. I think the argument is, was he forced out of bounds or not? You just heard the opinion anyway of Scott Davis and the officiating crew is that he was not forced out of bounds, that he went out of bounds of his own volition and came back in bounds and was the first to touch the football. If that is indeed the case, that is against the rules. If he was forced out, that's a different set of circumstances. But the officials say he went out of bounds on his own, and as a result, it's a loss of down, and they bring the ball back. Although the first down marker, the down marker rather, reads first down at the moment. I believe that must be an error.
I'm still trying to figure out how they got it first down at the 28, though. That made no sense.
You're absolutely right.
It was a loss of down
because he was out across the 50-yard line.
Now they're saying first down and 8. Huh? I think the game's getting out of control, but it might be the gentlemen in the striped jerseys that are having the biggest problem keeping it under control here.
So now it says 2nd down. Now 3rd down.
We go. There we go. I think they've got it right now.
3rd down and 8 from their own 10-yard line. It would seem to me that
that's not right either, though.
I don't think that's right either.
No, that's not right either.
It seems
it was like
that's
3rd and 18,
go
wasn't it? It was like 3rd and 18.
I would say the down markers were further down the field than where they sit at the moment. But anyway, 3rd and 8 is what they're apparently going to call it. Although the graphic on the screen says 3rd and 17. There's a lot of confusion going on out here. Anyway, they swing it out on the near side, and it's Gray Romero who makes the catch anyway. Is he going to have enough for the first down? It looks very close.
Now you got J. Don McCullough over here on the Plano side's upset, and I think he's right. You can't complete a pass on 3rd and 17 and come back and have 3rd and 8. When the receiver went out of bounds, I think that's exactly what they did. They gave a first down.
And after all that, it's a first down fresh set of downs for Castaneda and company at their own 18-yard line.
Wow.
If anybody out there in the Twitterverse or on Facebook can figure out what just happened, let us know, because we're still scratching our heads. Mark Graham swung it on the outside, somehow still on his feet, and a flag flies in late from way back in the play.
They might have called that for the hit to the head. Well, the defender came up and put a lick on him. I mean, put a big lick on him. He spun off of that.
He's still down.
Look right here, Mike. Look, number 11.
Catch him.
It's pretty high.
That's Isaiah Calhoun who delivered the hit. It's Mark Graham, who you see just behind the official there, is still down on the field.
I don't think that there's anything incredibly wrong with that particular play, but in today's football game it is. Usually it is, I should say.
And what you're seeing right now is exactly why they're trying to legislate hits to the head out of the game, because it is.
But I looked like Calhoun came in pretty high with the shoulder.
Mark Graham up off his feet and walking off now. Officials talking to Jadon McCullough here.
I think he's still talking about the last series. We asked him at halftime.
Media timeout.
You heard it from the official there. We're taking a break. We'll be back on Thursday Night Lights after this.
Know we stand for y'all and thank y'all for keep fighting.
Like Hop said, Texans are here, we all root for you.
Yeah, man, we just want to let you guys know we're proud of you for getting back on the field and giving your community something to root for. Sometimes football means much more than what the scoreboard is, so keep fighting.
Deshaun Watson and some of his Houston Texans teammates with a message for the El Paso Eastwood Troopers. The way that this entire state, it has truly been statewide, the support for the El Paso community, and then certainly after that, the support for the Midland Odessa
Before the media timeout, a personal foul, number 5 on the defense for a face mask. Result of the play is a first down. Clock will be hot.
Oh, wow, okay. Not the hit by Calhoun was the penalty, a face mask instead.
Either way, it results in a first down out to the 36-yard line for the Troopers offense. 3 wide receivers to the near side here for Castaneda as you get a wide look at the screen. Handoff goes to Luca Gonda. First time we're calling his name tonight, the starting running back. And he dances out to the 45. Gonda, the sophomore running back, as Castaneda takes it across for a first down close to the 50-yard line. Gonda is just a sophomore, replacing Noah Rios, who was really the engine of the offense last year, at least in terms of the running game for El Paso Eastwood. So Gonda and Mark Graham, the senior, who we saw just go off the field a little bit ago, are the 2 main guys you'll see out of the backfield for Eastwood tonight. You may also potentially see Rudy Tay as their stud linebacker. Every once in a while, he'll get in there and get a couple carries at running back, but primarily Luca Gonda is the lead back behind Castaneda, who this time scoots across the 45 hit hard and flags fly in all over the place, and Castaneda is holding his helmet.
He
tried to slide, yeah.
He went into a slide, and I think the defender, I can't see exactly who that young man is, but he hit him on the way down, and oh my goodness, Castaneda's not getting up either. Now that would be a horrible break for Eastwood if he can't continue.
Castaneda, a 3-year starter.
Did you see the young man who made the tackle?
I didn't. I imagine we'll get a replay here in a moment. At the moment, the officials are trying to sort out. I mean, there's not a whole lot to sort out. It was very clearly a penalty.
He was going.
Whether or not it's more than that, maybe what they're discussing right now.
He was going into a slide, and the Plano defender hit him. And bottom line is, you just can't do that to certainly a quarterback, but you can't really do it in any situation when the player's giving himself up.
Personal foul for targeting. Number 36 of the defense, 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down. By rule, player 36 has disqualified himself from the contest.
Wow. Wow.
Damian Phillips, senior linebacker for the Plano Wildcats.
I don't like
the
that
targeting penalty.
Yeah, I don't like that rule. They have that rule in high school. They have that rule in college. It's a bad hit. I mean, it's a bad play by Damian Phillips. I'll give you that. But I don't think it's a play that's worthy of being kicked out of a football game.
Aiden Garcia in there, a quarterback for Eastwood right now. Hands off to Luca Gondola. We'll have to keep an eye on whether or not Christian Castaneda makes his way back onto the field. And sure enough, one play, and here he comes.
I just think that play, it's hard. I mean, it's a bang play. I mean, granted, Castaneda was giving himself up, and you do everything you can to protect the players at every level of football nowadays.
Right.
But still, the defender's coming forward. He starts to commit. It didn't appear to me that he went out of his way to target him and consequently get thrown out of the game. That's a very harsh penalty.
I agree that he didn't go out of his way to target Castaneda. It did appear, though, that he noticed that Castaneda was sliding because he did kind of angle his body down to try and make contact with him. I'm not saying he was trying to go for his head,
but do you throw him out? I mean, is that really what we do? I mean, you throw him out. It's a violent game.
It is.
And again, you want to protect high school kids. You certainly want to protect college kids. But I mean, I've seen so many plays in college that I always said the great Cowboy safety Cliff Harris, he couldn't have made it through any football game he ever played. Now, I realize that they've changed the rules, and they probably did. But Cliff Harris would not have finished the first quarter of any football game he ever played. And I just think there's a difference when you're in a violent game of making a hit. And I think it's hard for an official to look at a bang play and say, oh, well, that was targeting. He was going for the head. Sometimes I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I don't think it happened in that case.
Play action for Castaneda, throws it over the middle, and it's knocked out of the hands of Gray Romero. I'll say this. I understand the argument that, hey, it's a violent game, and it is. But when we're talking about the future of this sport, that certainly Texans love, Americans love as much as we all do, if it's going to continue, it needs to be made a safer game, because at some point there are going to be parents and even maybe the kids themselves to make the decision, you know what? That sport's not for me. Not all kids.
Well, I think a lot of kids are already making that decision.
Exactly.
I mean, it's down all over the country.
So if you can make the sport safer, the efforts need to be made to do that as another flag flies in.
Right.
Also a timeout call. They may grant the timeout before what would have been, it appears, a delay game.
El Paso, their third and final timeout of the end.
We still have the clock running for some reason. Finally just stopped at 1:49. I think they lost about 5 or 6 seconds there. It is most certainly a violent game, and it's, I think, always going to be in some way, shape, or form a dangerous game. But if you can try and change the mentality at the youth level and at the high school level, then I think eventually when kids that are now 16, 17, 18 years old playing high school football eventually grow up to play professional football, by the time they get to the pros, they will be accustomed to this new set of rules and maybe play a safer brand of the game.
I think they're all working their way there, and I don't think it's that hard. I'm not saying it's ingrained into them to blow a kid up, but at the same time, I think it's really hard for defensive players. I mean, I really do think that it's hard to be a defensive player at every level. I mean, you see plays on the sideline. I mean, you don't know if the guy's going to step out of bounds. You don't know if he's going to cut back and go 20 more yards. You're coming at him at incredibly high speed, and then, oh, well, he was a yard out, and I hit him. And now, you know, and okay, a penalty, I'm fine. I flag a penalty. But kicking a kid out, that just seems to be too much to me.
4th and 18 here for Castaneda. Rolls out to the right-hand side. He's got a man downfield. Complete across the 15. First down, Eastwood on 4th and long. A.J. Delgado wide open over the middle. And Eastwood converts on 4th and forever.
Well, at least this time they were down in the right side of the field to be going for it.
They try to hurry up, but Plano, it appears, tried to call timeout before they were able to get the snap. They were trying to catch him napping.
It was a good play. I mean, it was a very good play. Good throw on the run. Delgado's their main go-to receiver for Eastwood.
Timeout. Plano, their first charge timeout.
And it was also on that side where Phillips was lined up previously. I don't know if maybe they think, okay, the guy, you know, who's replacing Phillips, maybe we can find a little opening over there. Maybe. But to convert a 4th down play with still 1:37 to play in the half, now they've got an opportunity to make this into a football game again. I mean, we're sitting here 23-7 with 1:37 to go. They get the touchdown. They also get, they do get the ball to be, I think, they get the ball to begin the second half. And the way they're scoring, or for the most part, the way they've been moving the football, I should say, if they don't make the mistakes and cause themselves their own problems, maybe we get this game right back to where it should be, close right to the finish. And it just seems appropriate that we should have a good game to the finish.
23-7 our score right now, just over 90 seconds left to play in the opening half. This is WFAA's special edition of Thursday Night Lights. El Paso Eastwood and Plano Senior High, two schools inextricably linked by the tragedy in El Paso on August 3rd. A graduate of Plano Senior High School involved in a shooting, 22 dead, 24 injured. This game initially canceled, put back on 24 hours later here at the Star on this Thursday night. And it's become quite a night for both of these communities. And it's become a decent football game too as Castaneda rolls out, this time nowhere to go. Ducks down just across the 10-yard line, maybe picks up a yard.
Look at the size of that kid, number 75. There's not a 75 listed on the roster, incidentally, for Eastwood. I think they might have had to stitch 2 jerseys together for that young man. You know, I mean, he's lined up at right tackle if we have a chance to get a shot at this kid. But this is, I talk about the size advantage for Plano. Not when that kid's on the field, they don't.
It's interesting. There's not one listed on the overall roster, but it's Andre Collins, their starting right tackle. Castaneda taken down from behind. Never saw Victor Solano coming. Victor Solano coming hot off the right edge. Beat Joe Immediato to the punch and takes down Christian Castaneda in the backfield.
I'm looking at my other sheet here. Yeah, Andre Collins, a senior, 6'1", 330 pounds.
He's a big boy.
This is one big young man. Wow. Wow.
3rd and goal now for Castaneda from the 14. Has all day, steps up in the pocket. Now he's going to try and run for it on 3rd and long. Catches a block to get down to the 13. Beg your pardon, it was from the 19, so a pickup of 6 there. Perhaps makes a 4th down field goal attempt a little more manageable. Or perhaps a 4th down attempt to go for it here.
Well, they haven't been willing to kick much in this game.
Now it appears Plano's going to call timeout.
Timeout. Plano.
Looks like they're going to line up and go for it, too.
Their second charge timeout.
16 seconds to play here in the second quarter. 23-7. Plano leads El Paso Eastwood. Timeout on the field taken by the Wildcats.
I mean, if it's 4th and 13, and assuming that their kicker can handle this, I mean, that's a relatively short kick, I would think, by good high school football standards. 23-10 at the half and the ball, that's a great deal better than 23-7.
Yeah.
Now, it's not as good as 23-14, but converting 4th and goal from the 13-yard line is not a real good percentage play, I wouldn't think.
Esteban Holguin is the kicker for El Paso Eastwood. He does have range out to about 40 yards, I was told by head coach Julio Lopez. So they're certainly within his range, but he's not on the field right now.
No, they're lined up to go for it again.
4th and goal from the 13, and it's Castaneda in shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the near side. One of them is Nathan Samaniego, just detached from the line a little bit. 2 to the top side and a back in the backfield with him. Castaneda fires over the middle, nearly intercepted, dropped twice by 2 Plano defenders, incomplete, and it's a turnover on downs. Eastwood comes up empty after what was a very long drive.
You know what I always find that funny is that they're much better off to drop what could have been the interception. And there's not a kid on that Plano football team that's not mad at himself for not making the interception.
Yeah.
And they would have had it like at the 1-foot line instead of out at the 13-yard line. You see, when you see a long pass thrown and you see a guy drop it on 4th down, I'm like, no, do not intercept this ball. But in the heat of the moment, I've never seen a defensive back at the highest levels of the game think it through. You know, as the ball's coming at him, I'm going for the interception. I said, yeah, you just cost your team about 38 yards.
The heat of that moment, and frankly, the search of that glory catches you a little bit too.
Yeah. I mean, Eastwood's had plenty of chances to score more than 7 points in this game, and they just had too many penalties and too many mistakes, and it could have been a lot closer than what we've got. But still, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
1 kneel down from Oliver Towns, and that is the first half. 23-7, the score in favor of the Plano Wildcats. 2 touchdowns from Cody Crist, a touchdown pass from Oliver Towns to Jaden Chambers.
I hope we get a chance.
Safety as well. Yeah. And they've got a 23-7 lead. Let's go to the sideline to Joe Trahan.
Yeah, thanks so much. We've got Plano head coach Jadon McCullough. Coach, there was so much that went into this game. How do you think your players handled all the emotion and got this game going?
Well, I think we've done pretty well. We still made a lot of mistakes, and we're very young, but man, our kids are playing with heart and getting after it, and so's Eastwood. You know, I mean, you know, you just get this feeling that they're never going to quit. You know what I mean? And they're relentless, but we're going to be relentless.
All right, Coach.
And so that, you know, a little disappointed. You know, I think we've played really, really well, but you know, we've done made some mistakes.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. We appreciate the time. Good luck in the second half. Now let's get the Eastwood perspective from Izzy.
Yeah, I'm here with Coach Julio Lopez. Coach Lopez, how are you going to turn this game around? What are you going to tell the players in the locker room?
Well, we're just not doing our job right now. I mean, we've had our chances. We got inside the 10. We didn't execute. We had, obviously, the mental mistake with the safety. So I think if we just come out and play our game, I think we'll be okay. We get the ball to start the second half, so we got to put together a drive and put together some points.
There's been so much attention leading up to this game. Do you feel some relief to finally be here?
Yeah, it's nice to actually just be yelling about some football and playing some football. So we're just happy. It's a great environment, a great crowd, and we got to come out and play better in the second half.
Coach Lopez, good luck.
Thank you.
Mike, Dale?
Izzy, thanks so much. 23-7 our score after 1 half of play. The Plano Wildcats with the lead. I gave you the 3 touchdowns from Plano. The 1 from Eastwood, Christian Castaneda to Nate Samaniego. But they'll need a few more in the second half to make a comeback tonight. More on the other side of the break as we hit halftime here from Ford Center.
Time game break. We're in the WFAA newsroom, and thank you for watching across not only the area of Dallas-Fort Worth and El Paso, but across the entire state of Texas and from around the country. I do want to get to some of the folks who have written us in our Facebook comments where you're coming from. We've got a few folks from California, David from the Redlands, Belinda, Melissa from Riverside. We've got folks, Kurt's watching from the Newark Airport, Dina from Plano, Shirley from Mansfield. We've got Gloria from Houston. Aaron's listening while driving through New Mexico. Melissa from Atlanta. Bobby from New Orleans. Edith from Seattle. And I promise you, I'm not making these names and cities up. These are folks who have written to us in the Facebook comments. They are watching this game between Plano and El Paso Eastwood. At the half, it is 23-7. In case you missed it during the second quarter, Mike and Dale sat down with Dee Margo, the El Paso mayor, an emotional sequence there. Margo said it was surreal said surreal would be an understatement when trying to characterize what the last month has been like for the El Paso community. He said the last funeral was just finished a week ago. So if you can imagine what they're going through, it's unconscionable. So he did say it will not define us being El Paso. It will not define Odessa, which also has experienced a tragic mass shooting recently as well. But that's what this game is for. It's to be a pleasant distraction from the unfortunate news of the world and focus on football. And that's what we're doing here tonight. Coming up, halftime action. We got a special halftime presentation. Guys, they'll speak with Dr. Xavier De La Torre, the Isleta superintendent, and also WFAA reporter Alex Rozier, who was in El Paso, will share some of his perspective and stories from his experience over there. Let's send it out to halftime.
Center, and you see a little bit of the halftime show from the Eastwood Troopers drill team and band as we return at halftime to Ford Center. 23-7 our score at the break, and it's time for a very special portion of the evening as we welcome into the broadcast booth our general manager and VP at Tegna as well, Brad Ramsey, and Mika Short from Paso del Norte, as well as Dan Bradley from Bull Zerk. This is certainly been a eventful and sobering in some ways month, but it's a month where a lot of people have come together to support the El Paso game.
That's right, Mike. I want to say first that I'm really pleased that this game is happening and thrilled that you and Dale and our entire team here have put so much work into it to help bring this night to life. At WFAA, as you know, our mission is to be the premier provider of original content, bold solutions, and engaging experiences that enrich lives. And as part of Tegna, our purpose is to serve the greater good of our communities. And I would like to believe that tonight and over the last few weeks, we have accomplished all of the above. Our colleague Alex Kruger, who's here in the room with us just off set tonight, came to us right after that horrible tragedy and said, I have an idea to do something a little more special and a little more meaningful here. And he came up for the idea of this shirt that I'm wearing and that our audience has become so familiar with tonight. And that's when we approached our partner Dan Bradley from Bull Zerk, and he's had quite the month.
So it's been a great experience. So we got to collab with Alex on this, and we designed and got to print in-house the shirts, and the response was, astronomical right from the start. And so to date right now, we're over $110,000 in donations to the charity, and that's over 8,000 shirts. And within our staff, we only have 20 people. So hand printing, shipping, and sending them out has been quite, the accomplishment, but it's been a blast and a great purpose.
So Mika, tonight, on behalf of Dan and Bull Zerk, and on behalf of our entire team at WFAA and our 1,200 colleagues across Texas that work for Tegna, it's our honor, and also on behalf of the thousands of people, some 8,000 plus, that have spoken out against hate by purchasing one of these T-shirts, to give you a check for $110,000 for the El Paso Victims Fund.
This is absolutely incredible, and we can't thank WFAA enough for this support. El Paso can truly feel the love from around the state. We've had support pouring in from all over the country, and it has really meant so much to our community as we try to heal moving forward, and gifts like this really make a difference in the lives of those victims that are going to have a long road of recovery ahead. So thank you so much.
We hope, it's awful that this had to bring us together, but like I said, I'm glad this game is going on. That's a part of the healing process. We hope that this contribution helps in some way with the healing as well.
And just the meaning behind it. The love that's shown, the stand against hate. That's really incredible, and a message that will resonate throughout the entire state. So thank you.
And that's 8,000 Texans out there speaking up.
And they're still for sale.
They are indeed. This
the
is the
proceeds
T-shirt
still
here.
go.
You see, we've got two of them here in the booth right now. The Don't Hate in My State T-shirt. And you can purchase them on WFAA.com. Go to WFAA.com/don'thate to purchase these T-shirts. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us tonight, and for everything that you guys have been doing over the course of the last month. We'll be right back with more of Halftime here from Ford Center.
Plano Senior and Eastwood High Schools are playing tonight for the second year in a row. But this year's meeting has come under some exceptional circumstances. Through it all, however, our students have reminded us of what's important. This afternoon, the bands, cheer squads, and drill teams of both schools met to practice together, get to know each other, and break bread together. Throughout this week, our students have reminded us of what's important by encouraging their classmates to practice 22 radio exercises. They have helped us remember that coming together and caring for each other enriches our lives in a way no other success can. We are always more loved than we are different, and together we are always better. Together, we are #Texas Strong. From the Eastwood High School Trooper Band and Trooperettes as they join the Plano Band and Planoettes to celebrate the unifying power of music. Please enjoy this unified performance of the Eastwood High School fight song, followed by March Grandioso.
And before we actually talk with you, let's see the piece that you put together that kind of encapsulated what that week meant, both to you and to that community as well.
After nearly a week reporting in El Paso, there's one thing I can't get out of my mind. This could have been all of us.
Stupid son of a shot her. I just want to know
that she's not in that building and that nobody's taking care of her. My brothers and sisters have been calling all day long. This is not right.
Edie Hallberg was one of the first people I met in West Texas. She rushed up to the media outside of the Walmart Saturday night to tell us about her mother. This is her mother, 86-year-old Angie Englesby, mother of 7, grandmother to more than 20. She doesn't normally shop at Walmart Saturday mornings, but that Saturday she just had to pick up a couple of things. And that is where she died. I keep thinking, that could have been all of us. Then there's Javier Rodriguez. I met his family too. Javier went to Walmart with his uncle. All he wanted to do was buy school supplies, but he never made it out of the store alive. Javier was 15, about to start his sophomore year in high school. This could have been all of us. Sadly, this is now so common. This happened at a Walmart, but we've seen it at a concert, movie theater, church, a nightclub. But at all those scenes, despite the hate, there was love. At the memorial in El Paso, flowers and candles paid tribute to the victims in the most beautiful way. So yes, this could have been all of us. But as we work towards solutions in these dark times, don't forget the good that surrounds us, because the good is also easy to find.
Alex, a beautiful piece. Obviously, what you saw over the course of that week in some ways can't be described, but how do you encapsulate what you experienced over the course of that time?
You know what, you remember the best and the worst of humanity. I mean, that the moment that brought us all there to El Paso was the absolute worst, but everything I heard from that community was consistently, this is not El Paso. And you talk to the people in that town, and you see and you feel their hearts and the love that they're showing for one another in the days after what is one of the most heartbreaking days in that town's history. What I'm going to remember from El Paso is the goodness from that community and how they really rallied after a devastating day.
You know, this is the problem, though, Alex. I mean, this isn't El Paso. This isn't Parkland. This isn't Columbine. This isn't any of the communities affected by this. And yet, it could have been all of us, and eventually the way we're going, it probably will be, don't you think?
Yeah, it's devastating to hear the stories of people like the folks that you heard from in that story, the 15-year-old who went to Walmart, the 85-year-old who went to Walmart on a Saturday morning. I know that could have been me. We all have been that person, and you hear it everywhere.
Has it changed your life individually at all? Do you feel like you live any differently?
Dale, I think that what I'm tasking myself with is looking in the mirror, and I hope that all of us do in some way to say, what can we do to stop this from happening again, so that the next El Paso does not happen. And again, I think it's going to take every individual, whatever role they play, to prevent the next one.
The unfortunate reality, this is not El Paso, this is not Plano, this is not Odessa, this is not Columbine, this is not Parkland. This is America.
This is America, as a young man. And I just don't see it changing. I really don't. The people who do have the power to change it say that there's nothing they can do. I've talked to many of my friends who are gun owners and hunters, and they say there's nothing that can be done. And I'm just saying they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong, but we're not willing to even discuss it rationally. And that's why we keep having shooting after shooting after shooting after shooting.
And that's why I hope we see the faces of those people and we remember their names and we hear their stories and we try to do something, because those people are the reason we should.
Alex Rozier, thank you so much. And he's got a special piece coming up tomorrow night, a joint piece with Job and Panic, are kind of melding these two communities together that you'll want to see as well. We'll be right back after this.
I'm just saying they're wrong. They're absolute.
Hi there, Jonah Javad here in the WFAA newsroom. We're getting ready for the third quarter of action here. Emotional evening. If you got a chance to watch Alex Rozier's piece from the El Paso Remembrance, that was quite moving. Really strong work there. I want to say a quick hello to some folks who have been commenting on our Facebook page. We've got Cheryl from Colquitt, Georgia. We actually got a few folks from Georgia. There's folks from Charleston. There's David from Cleveland, Deborah from Cincinnati, Andrea from Wyoming, Christy from Folsom, Louisiana, and the list goes on and on. So, of course, people are watching this Eastwood Plano game from all across the country, not just here in Texas. As we get ready and start to look toward the third quarter of action, we're going to hear from the El Paso and the Plano drill team sponsors, and also later on this evening, we'll speak with Plano principal Sarah Watkins and Isleta athletic director Mike Williams. Be sure to let us know in the Facebook comments what you've thought of the game so far, what you thought of some of the halftime performances. I apologize, we didn't get a chance to show all of the marching band performances. Hopefully you got a chance to see some of that. I know how much that means to the folks here in Texas. But be sure to let us know in the comments, what you think of the unity that's been on full display tonight. Texas strong indeed. I do want to make one more mention about these t-shirts, which I'm sure you've seen quite a lot of this evening. These Don't Hate in My State t-shirts. WFAA.com/don't hate. You can buy one for $23. The proceeds go to the victims of the El Paso shooting. So if you'd like to show support to them, that is a great way to do it. We've raised over $100,000 over in the last month. I don't know if you caught that at halftime as well. We were able to present El Paso with that check at halftime. So certainly this is a night that transcends sports. I know sometimes we get caught up in the X's and O's of everything, but this is so much more than a game, and we're really thrilled and honored that we can bring you the action, not just on Channel 8 locally in Dallas-Fort Worth, but across Techna stations in Texas and across the country as well. So thank you for watching. We really do appreciate it, and I know the students and the band members appreciate it as well. Let's get back out to the Star in Frisco. Dale and Margo.
23-7 our halftime score in favor of the Plano Wildcats, leading El Paso Eastwood at the break. Third quarter just moments away here on WFAA. We are live simulcast on KVIA ABC7 in El Paso and streaming on digital in all 11 markets across Texas in the Tegna Media family. We thank you all across Texas for tuning in tonight for what is truly, Dale, the game of the week, potentially the game of the year across the state. Maybe not necessarily strictly from a football sense, but in terms of all of the surrounding importance of this football game.
Well, hopefully it is. I mean, I hope we don't have to do another football game that has the emotional attachment that these two schools are having right now. But, despite that 23-7 score, Mike, that Plano Senior High leads Eastwood by, the numbers would indicate that it's a much closer game. Plano had 185 yards in the first half. Eastwood had 173. Eastwood had 8 first downs. Plano had 9 first downs. The only stat that really jumps out, Plano only had 2 penalties. Eastwood had 8 penalties. No turnovers in the game. And Eastwood's quarterback, Cristy Castaneda, turned it over 3 times last week, and he's had problems with that. But it's been cleanly played, except for the penalties by Eastwood and the mistakes that they made down close, which is why we have the 16-point spread in the game.
Diego Santibáñez with the opening kickoff here in the second half, rolls out of bounds in the end zone. And it will be a touchback to start things off here in the second half. Let's go to Cynthia Izaguirre on the sideline.
Stand by, guys. Hey, Mike, the halftime show is over, but it's certainly one we won't forget soon. Joining me now are some cheerleaders and the Eastwood High School drum major. Alexa Andrade, I'll start with you. Mark Taylor said on Twitter, your halftime performance was one for the history books. How in the world were y'all able to pull off a joint performance? I was in the band. It's not easy.
First down. Honestly, it really wasn't that hard. We had a couple of rehearsals before coming out this week. And as soon as we got here, we changed, we put on our marching shoes, and we headed to the practice field for about an hour and a half or 2.
How have you felt love and support from the North Texas community?
Honestly, as soon as we got here, they were smiling and laughing and hugging us and making sure that we felt welcome, and it was really, really nice.
I'm not surprised by that, Alexa. Thank you. Joining me also, Giovanna and Amanda. Now, Giovanna, we'll start with you because at the beginning of the halftime performance, the Plano Senior High announcer said their halftime performance was dedicated to Eastwood. What did that moment mean to you?
We are very grateful for Plano and for them sticking behind us through the recent tragedies.
Amanda, what did that moment mean to you, knowing that their halftime performance was for you?
It meant everything to us. We want to thank them for the support that they brought to us and thank them for everything that they gave us while we've been here, and we want to wish them a great season.
Well, I thought that was an incredible halftime performance. Of course, I'm partial, Mike, because I was a former drum major. Back to you.
Izzy, thanks so much. Obviously, it was, Dale. It was a special moment to see those two bands come together as one cohesive unit and perform for the fans.
Well, it was special to me, too, because I was in the band, Mike. I was the fourth chair trumpet player in a 3-chair band. So I wasn't a big part of the band, but I thought the kids, and as you point out, the two schools coming together made it even more special.
Penalty flag down. No surprise here.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10 yards from the previous spot. First down.
This is what's stopping them. They came out. The Plano kids were offside on the kickoff, so they pick up 5 yards. They run 3 plays. Down the field they go. They cross midfield, and then they get their what is it now? 9th penalty of this game to only 3 for Plano. That's been the difference so far. It really has.
And it puts them in a 1st and 20 situation here. One thing that is worth noting, Mark Graham, the running back from Eastwood that we saw get hurt earlier in the game, he is back in the game and did actually carry the first run of this first half for Eastwood. This time it is their quarterback Castaneda taking it back to just maybe a little bit beyond the original line of scrimmage. Castaneda and Graham were the ones who got them this far in the first place. As you were mentioning, a couple plays in a row, they ran very nice runs off the right edge to get into Plano territory.
Well, they're going behind that big Andre Collins on the right side.
This time they swing it out on the near side for A.J. Delgado, and he lowers his shoulder to get to the 40-yard line.
You know, if you're a Plano defender, you've got to give up about 3 yards just to get around Andre Collins. I mean, you're giving the Eastwood running back about a 3-yard head start, and you got to cover some serious ground just to get around that kid.
3rd down and 5 now for Castaneda. Swings it down on the right-hand side for Graham, and he's got a block to the edge. Trying to get to the corner. He's got the first down and slung out of bounds by Zion Lewis.
See, this is what they're doing. They had it 1st and 20, which is a very, very tough situation to overcome, and they do it in 3 plays.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eastwood offense is fine. The Eastwood offense is moving the ball, but the penalties keep stopping them.
Fresh set of downs now, 1st and 10 from the Plano 34, down 23-7, but they are moving the ball on this possession. They need some points to start the second half off well, and another nice first down play as they swing it out to Gray Romero, who I feel has about 14 catches already tonight. Realistically, probably more like 6 or 7, but he has been, so far this evening, the favorite target of Christian Castaneda.
I love this hurry-up football, I really do.
Luca Gondada in the backfield with him. He's going to be the lead blocker as Castaneda swings it out on the right-hand side. He's got the first down, and they are down right knocking on the door of the red zone, right at the 20-yard line.
Look at the right side of that offensive line for Eastwood. I mean, it just seals it off. I mean, Collins just stands up. Everybody just gets a complete wall on that outside, and Castaneda is just able to take off and pick up 10.
1st and 10 from the 20. Castaneda fakes the QB draw, slings it on the left-hand side, incomplete. A.J. Delgado couldn't haul it in. Ball was a little bit out in front of him there.
Yeah, he wasn't going to go very far if he did catch it. But, I mean, don't you like this high school game played? I mean, I think it's a very difficult game to broadcast, by the way. I kind of like that 25, 30-second gap in the good old days when I was doing Cowboys games or something. But watching it from a fan's perspective, I just love the way these kids play. I don't know how they play at this speed and this level, but I do love watching them.
2nd and 10 now for Castaneda. Swings it out to Luca Gondada. Nowhere for Gondada to go. 2 Plano Wildcats in on the tackle there. Isaiah Calhoun leading the charge.
They're moving everything on the right side. And I mean, I realize you can't just stay there forever, but I think they maybe thought they had Plano kind of cheating to that side, to the Eastwood right side. They run 2 plays to the left, a pass and a run. They don't get anything on either one of them.
So now 3rd down and 11. Our graphic, oh, there we go, just finally switched over. 3rd and 11 now for Castaneda as he rolls out to the right-hand side. Fires for Delgado, but that's going to be short of the first down right at the 15-yard line.
Oh, he was late with that throw, though. If he throws that a couple beats earlier, the kid had a lot of room to run.
Yeah.
He was all alone out there in the flat, and Castaneda held on to the ball too long, and then they was bringing the sideline in and the defense as well.
Not going to kick the field goal here, even though they are within range. 4th and 5, they're going to go for it. Perhaps they're rethinking that.
I don't understand the thing. They had a field goal at the end of the half. I mean, assuming their kicker, which, as you said, is supposed to be good inside 40, they very potentially, we'll see what happens, but they could be giving up 6 points, when they're down 16.
3 wides to the near side. Castaneda looks left, fires left. Nathan Samaniego, did he make the catch? If he did, he's got the first down. They're going to say he made the grab.
Brilliant
4th
decision.
and 5.
No, brilliant
4th and
decision.
5 conversion.
And without question, you don't kick the field goal there, and you go for it. You go for it on 4th down.
1st and goal for Christian Castaneda. And he's going to run it once again. Not a whole lot of room this time. Isaiah Calhoun wrapped him up and brought him down after a pickup of 3.
Yeah, that secondary is cheating up there a little bit now. I think they're starting to expect him to hang on to that ball quite a bit, and they're playing a little bit tighter toward the line. And once he started on that right side, it looked like he had a lot of room to run, but it closed down in a hurry.
Castaneda looking to the sideline. Julio Lopez and Gabriel Pedregon, the 2 offensive wizards on that sideline for El Paso. Pedregon, the offensive coordinator, but he and Lopez work together on calling the offense as Castaneda falls backward inside to the 2-yard line.
Well, you got 2 plays, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to kick a field goal from here. You got 2 more shots at it. I just keep running that right side behind Collins. I really do. I just see if he can't just square something up. There they go.
Castaneda, but whistles before they can get the ball off. Looks like Plano may have called timeout.
I was giving you my best Tony Romo description right there. I called the play for you. Now, Plano stopped it just in time for them. I mean, it was a good timeout by Plano, because I think Eastwood had to play the exact play they wanted.
23-7 our score right now. Let's go to the sideline to Joe Trahan.
All right, thanks so much, you guys. I've got the drill teams from both Plano Senior High and El Paso Eastwood, because it's not all about football, right, ladies? It's not all about football, is it? Of course not. So first, let's meet Meredith Walraven. She's with Plano, and you guys did so much to welcome our friends from Eastwood. Tell us what you guys put together.
So we did some goodie bags that we're going to present to them 3rd quarter, and then we also hosted them with Chick-fil-A dinner at our school and a place for them to get ready in our orchestra room. So we thank you to our director of orchestra to allow them to come into our fine arts building and get ready and be prepared for the game tonight.
So this is Ursula Casas. So what about this hospitality? What was it like for you and your troop?
It was beautiful. It spoke highly of the love and the unity we have in Texas. It made us feel welcomed and made a long travel day well worth the long drive.
And I tell you what, you guys are like a good luck charm, because there's a touchdown for El Paso Eastwood. Great job, ladies. Thanks so much. Back to you, Mike.
Joe, thanks a lot. Christian Castaneda runs it in on 3rd down and goal from the 2. And Eastwood, Dale, very importantly here early on in the 3rd quarter, carving back into the lead here.
Oh, they did exactly what they had to do. And the biggest part of that was overcoming that big penalty where they had it back 1st and 20. Once they overcame that and got the score, now they got it to a 10-point game.
And now they're going to go for 2 here to try and cut it to a 1-possession game. Castaneda rolls to the right, tried to find Delgado, had the ball knocked away, scoops it back up, but he's slung down at the 8. And the 2-point conversion goes begging. 23-13, down to a 10-point game with 8:03 left here in the 3rd quarter, as Eastwood scores on their first possession of the 2nd half.
Game. We loaded that bus at 2 a.m. this morning. We got 65 girls on the bus, 40 band members, 12 cheerleaders. We got up bright and early and headed out.
And they got up at 2 a.m. Can we hear it for the ladies, huh? How about it? Great job, ladies. Thanks so much. Hey, you guys have some fun. Enjoy your night. Thank you, ladies.
Back at Ford Center, 23-13 now our score as Christian Castaneda talking to the camera after he finds the end zone for the second time tonight. He threw the touchdown to Nathan Samaniego in the first half, and right here in the early goings of the third quarter runs it in to make it a 10-point game with 8:03 left in the third.
Yeah, I normally don't like giving up extra points early in a football game, but the way this thing is playing out, and you get it to 8, I think that comes into play. If you were going to kick field goals, which they've obviously decided not to do at any point, there's no reason to pass up 10 as compared to 9. It doesn't do you any good. So the 2-point conversion is good.
Will they kick an onside kick here?
Yeah.
And they do. Who's going to get on top of the football?
I think Plano got this one, though. It was a good try because it bounced off the Plano kid, but I think he got right back on top
football.
of it. Yeah.
It did bounce right off the Plano up back.
What did you say, last year's game they tried how many of them?
They tried 6. They recovered 4 of them.
Yeah, but J. Don McCullough, the Plano coach, said during the week, we spent a lot of time working on covering onside kicks, and it looked like they were somewhat expecting that as well.
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah.
They know that it's coming at any time. That is what Eastwood does.
Yeah, they hit it hard, and they had a chance there. Because, I mean, what you want to do is try to get that ball to bounce off one of the up front guys, and it did, but the Plano kids were able to get on top of it.
Good reaction, too, from, I believe it was Logan Wheeler who recovered the onside kick there and give Plano possession. Flag flies in here as Tylen Hines has got a lot of running room. Tylen Hines, another flag as he dances across the 10. Tylen Hines into the end zone, but which of these flags is going to bring it back?
I think both of them are going to bring it back. I think both flags are against Eastwood, or against Plano rather, and certainly I'm sure the first one is.
Yeah.
Which is in the Plano backfield. So this one's coming back.
Saw Jadon McCullough talking to one of his offensive linemen there.
We saw
it was Sullivan Burns.
We saw that speed of Hines. I mean, this is the great little matchup they got. They used the Crist kid. He's the Burkhead guy who's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
And then Hines is the fast guy, and we saw it right there, obviously. And once he turned the corner, he just ran past about 3 Eastwood defenders.
Tylen Hines was the offensive newcomer of the year in District 9-6A in 2018. Only a junior, but carried for 779 yards and 9 touchdowns as a sophomore last year. He's got some scoots, and he just showed it right there, but his offensive line, and it appears maybe even his wide receivers were giving him too much help.
We've got 2 fouls on the play, both on the offense.
Yeah,
personal foul, blindside block, that penalty's decline. Holding, number 65 of the offense. That penalty's enforced in the previous spot, 10 yards, replay first down.
Scott Davis explaining the damage, and that's going to lead to 1st and 20 now for Plano, knocked back to their own 40.
There it is right there. 65 is Sullivan Burns. He's just a sophomore, 6'5", 250 pounds. A sophomore. And grabbed himself a little bit of jersey and cost his team some yards right there.
So 1st and 20, and nowhere to go for Oliver Towns. Slung down in the backfield. This is what I love about high school football. Number 94 made that play. I have no 94 anywhere on the Eastwood roster.
I wasn't going to make that same mistake twice, so I looked through every number I've got here, and there is no 94 on the roster. I said, I'll make that mistake once a game. That's my limit. But yeah, and this happens a lot, unfortunately, in high school football.
They change numbers sometimes. It is an unfortunate reality, but whoever that young man is, he made a very nice play. 2nd down and very long, and whistles before they can even start the play. It's going to be a false start against Plano.
Wow. Now Plano is starting to make the mistakes that they did not make in the first half.
Yes.
Their penalties are catching up.
On the offense, number 2, 5 yards, replay 2nd down.
Listen to that El Paso crowd over there. That's an amazing turnout from El Paso to come all the way to Frisco for this football game. I mean, there can't be that many just parents and aunts and uncles.
That's right.
I mean, you know the parents are coming, probably the occasional aunt and uncle, but I think there's quite a few people in the El Paso community who decided to make this trip as well. That's a very nice crowd who've come a long way for this football game.
And thanks in part to this crowd, and thanks in part to some penalties against Plano, you can feel a little momentum shift right now here in the third quarter after that touchdown from Castaneda. This time they swing it out on the left-hand side for Jaden Chambers, and he's almost able to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Still going to be 3rd and long, though, for Plano.
Here's one of those big plays. as much of a cliche as it always is, but this could be a rather big play in the game. They're looking at third and, what is that, about third and 13 now? 14 maybe?
Yeah, it looks like about third and 14. Yeah.
And the ball is on their end of the field, although the way this game's been played, they probably got 2 plays to go for it, you know, but they get a stop here and force a Plano punt. Now we get ready for some more football.
By my count, we've seen 1 punt today. I think that's it.
Yeah. And not much of one at that, but we've seen one. Yeah.
Third and 14. Towns is going to go deep over the middle. Jaden Chambers didn't know where the football was.
I never did see it.
He had him open, too. Chambers had gotten behind the defense, but he didn't know where the ball was, and the ball was probably too far to the inside as well.
Well, the ball was to the inside, and Chambers was looking to the outside. I mean, he'd run about 20 yards downfield, and he had turned out to the right, and the ball looked like it was pretty much sailing right over his head, but he never did see it. He was running a bit free. Had they been able to hook up, it would have been a first down, but he never did find the ball. And they're at least in punt formation, but I think I'll believe it when I see it, Mike.
Aiden Christensen back to punt for Plano. It's A.J. Delgado deep to receive for Eastwood. Short punt. Bounces inside the 20, takes a good Plano hop, and another one down inside the 10. So it's going to be tough field position for Eastwood, down 23-13 midway through the third quarter. We'll be back on Thursday Night Lights. Earlier today, this is the Eastwood Troopers with an early dinner at Campese's, and I'm told that the owner, Dave Campese, was very emotional and got choked up explaining, this is who we are, this is Texas, rallying together, not what has happened in El Paso and Midland, Odessa over the course of the last month. This, what we're seeing right now, football bringing communities together, this is what Texas is, and that message from Dave Campese earlier tonight. And just one example of the North Texas community, of the Texas community writ large, supporting El Paso this month.
Well, I've known David Campese for a long time. I thought it was a great thing he did for these kids.
Mark Graham hit hard and taken down close to the first down marker.
Looks like he's right on the marker the way the officials stand over there with his right foot. That's got to be a first down, isn't it?
It is awfully close, and yes, indeed, it is a first down.
Was it the old argument about the right foot, left foot spot? You know, whichever foot's going the way you want it to go, that's the foot you wanted to mark it with.
Yeah. So 1st and 10, fresh set of downs for Castaneda, and that's going to be a false start against the Troopers offense. The penalties have absolutely been a killer.
False start on the offense, number 74. 5 yards, replay first down.
They had 7 in the first half. We've seen at least 3 here in the second half.
8 in the first half, actually.
Was 8 in the
first
half?
Yeah.
So at least 3 here in the second half. So by my count, we're up to 11 penalties for Eastwood so far today. But again, we mentioned it a couple minutes ago, it does feel like they've started to kind of seize a little bit of the momentum. A little screen pass set up here, and they
my goodness.
It's an incomplete pass. The play is dead, but Mark Graham had running room and blockers in front. The Eastwood coaching staff is directly to our right. I didn't really notice that until just now because they all jumped out of their chairs, exasperated that wasn't the big play that it very well could have been.
Well, look, you don't see it right there in the replay, but they had a 3-on-1 fast break, Mike. They had 3 kids out in front of him, only 1 Plano defender, and about 45 yards to run. If he makes that catch, turns upfield, they had a 3-on-1 fast break, and the kid might still be running.
Instead, 2nd and 15. Castaneda rolls out to the right. He's got A.J. Delgado. This time he threw it on time, Dale, and that's going to be a first down and a big hit to knock him out of bounds. Does not look like it was an early hit.
That's exactly what we were talking about on the play down near the goal line a moment ago, and he did. He got this one out there quick and let Delgado do the rest of it. He didn't wait and hold the ball and force him to the sideline.
Swung out on the right-hand side. It was intended for Gray Romero, but instead it's caught on that side. Nowhere to go for Mark Graham. That was intended for Gray Romero. Bounced up in the air. Graham ends up seizing it, but maybe a gain of a yard after all. No gain. They're going to mark it back at the 30.
He gets hit as the ball arrives. It was a great defensive play by the young man from Plano. And he gets hit just as the ball comes in. The ball pops up in the air. They make the catch, but for no gain.
So now 2nd down and 10. Castaneda with 3 wides to the near side this time. Runs it off right guard. Picks his way across the 30, almost out to the 35. We're simulcast tonight on KVIA ABC 7 in El Paso, and Cynthia Izaguirre is standing by with a member of the ABC 7 team. Cynthia?
I sure am, Mike. Joining me now is Adrian Ochoa, sports director at KVIA, that ABC affiliate in El Paso. You know, I spoke with Chris Castaneda, the quarterback for Eastwood, and he told me they're playing in memory of Eddie Cruz. This team has been through so much, Adrian.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's just the trooper spirit. Not only that, but it embodies the El Paso Strong mentality that when something goes wrong, we use that to our advantage. And it's being displayed here tonight with the Eastwood Troopers and the effort that they're giving on this field tonight. It's just been incredible to watch.
Do you feel the healing?
Oh, I do, for sure. We saw the band earlier today. Both bands playing the Eastwood fight song. I got to admit, being an alum from Eastwood, being in the band, I was in the band in high school, seeing that, I kind of got choked up a bit because that fight song means so much. And for both those schools to play that fight song together, that's healing right there, definitely.
Texas Strong. Yep. Mike?
Izzy, thanks so much. You saw just a moment ago the 3rd and 5 incompletion, but a pass interference penalty against Plano gives Eastwood a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 now out at their own 44-yard line. We have seen more than our fair share of laundry tonight as Mark Graham takes the pitch. Nice cutback and gets across midfield.
Yeah, the Plano fans didn't like the interference call, as you might expect. It was called on Takeem Thomas, and I think it was without question he got there early. And, you know, you protect the receivers in this game, and I think it was absolutely pass interference.
Castaneda on 2nd and 3, head of steam across the first down marker and across the 45.
Now, this is good stuff on both sides, though. This is really good stuff on both sides. Everything that was going into this game, and it looked early on like Plano was going to just pull away when they got that safety early to start opening up that gap. And these kids from Eastwood have just kept hanging around, They still, you know, they're still down 10, only 3:45 to play here in the 3rd quarter, but we might be taking this thing all the way to the finish.
Castaneda, nice move to get away from the pass rush, and he's got a man downfield, and he dropped it at the 10-yard line. Wide open behind the defense was Angel Santos, and he couldn't haul it in.
Wow. Castaneda does a great job to get away from the pressure, rolls a little bit to the right. The receiver is wide open at the 10-yard line. He's absolutely wide open at the 10-yard line, and Angel Santos drops what should have been an easy walk-in touchdown.
2 drops on this drive that could have been very big plays for Eastwood. Romero catches this one and gets across the 40 to the 39, setting up 3rd and 5. But twice now.
Wow, yeah.
We saw the drop early on in the drive from Mark Graham that could have been a big play on the screen pass when they were deep in their own territory. And then here just a moment ago, deep down the right sideline, Angel Santos, the 5'6", 150-pound senior. Think about how tough you got to be to play this game at 5'6" and 150 pounds. It's a tough kid, but a tough moment for him because you can guarantee that he wanted to make that catch. Christian Castaneda lowering
There's some serious
shoulder.
hitting going on. There is some serious hitting going on out there.
He's taken down 3 yards short, though, so now 4th and 3 for Eastwood.
That was Plano's Stephen Browder who comes. Look at the hit. I mean, look at the hit, boy. He comes up and closes that running lane in a hurry. And now we've got another one of these 4th down plays. It's only about 3 yards this time, but yeah, the early play on the screen pass was a drop, but that was only going to be for a lot of yards. The Santos drop was a touchdown.
Yeah. 4th and 3 for Castaneda. Straight drop, lots of pressure in his face. Deep downfield, he's got another man wide open. Luca Gondara, touchdown, Eastwood.
What a throw. What a throw. The Plano defense was coming, and he just kept backing up. Castaneda just kept backing up, and I'm sitting there watching and thinking, they've got him. They've got him. It looked like he just kind of heaved it away because it was a 4th down play, but he sees his receiver running free. Wow, what a great throw. And now we do have the football game.
Stephen Browder,
man, that's good stuff.
Stephen Browder was right in the face of Christian Castaneda. And he was able to, as you mentioned, just keep creating space with the back pedal and heaves it downfield for a touchdown that now makes this a 3-point football game with 2:41 to play in the 3rd quarter.
I don't think this is going to come into play at the end, but you remember I said earlier about giving up that extra point? You're trying to make it from a 10-point game to an 8-point game, a 1-possession game, though, in high school football with a 2-point conversion. But now look what happens when you give up that point early. And I'm kind of trying to walk my own criticism here, if you will, but it should be a 2-point game, and then a field goal in the 4th quarter could possibly win it for you. Now a field goal only gets you tied. But the way this game's playing out and the way even Plano's moved the ball, I don't think 23-21 is, or 23-20 is going to do it.
For roughing the snapper. That 15-yard penalty enforced on the kick.
Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing for sure.
Plano's really making a ton of mistakes in the second half. They played a very, Jadon McCullough was sitting there talking at halftime that, that they made some mistakes. Well, yeah. Offensively, maybe they made some mistakes, but they only had 2 penalties. Yeah. I think they've got 7 or 8 already here in just this 3rd quarter, and some costly penalties as well.
So this 15-yard penalty is going to put the kickoff at Plano's 45-yard line. If there was ever a time that I could almost guarantee you there's going to be an onside kick from Eastwood, it's right now.
Well, the way they've been playing the game, why not? Why not? You're going to give them the ball. If you don't recover the onside kick, you're going to give them the ball to about the 35-yard line.
Which is about what they'd be at anyway.
Yeah, probably. So, I think you're right. I think I'd go for the onside kick here, and they like to do it. Look at it. I think Plano's counting on it, too. Look at that. They've got 10 guys up close. 1 guy back. Damian Lloyd is back at the 10-yard line.
They have
wow, what's that?
They have 9 guys within 6 yards of the 35-yard line, which is as far forward as they can be.
Now, that I've never seen. They ran up to the ball and everybody stopped. They faked an onside kick.
And they're still going to onside kick it.
Didn't go far enough.
Didn't go 10 yards.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great. That's absolutely great. They faked the first one, and then sure enough, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
The penalty, though, will negate.
But I think this is fine. Yeah. But I think this is fine. You're letting Plano start at the 36-yard line. That's not bad. The risk reward, if you will, I think was well worth it, because if they recover that, now this whole game changes. The whole game changes if they recover. They've still got an opportunity to stop Plano here, and now it's up to the young guys from Plano to take control again.
We've got a legal touch change. Be Plano's ball, 1st down.
And a 5-yard penalty brings it out to the 41. Still okay. But now these Plano kids who've had a very rough 3rd quarter, they need to get back to what they were doing in the 1st quarter.
Yeah.
And They do that, they open up a 10-point lead again, then I think they're fine from there.
You may have just seen it there. Luka Gonda, the young man who just caught the touchdown pass, held up the number 3 jersey of Eddie Cruz, their fallen teammate who passed away in a tragic drowning accident in New Mexico on Monday. They are playing for him. They brought his jersey out on the field to symbolize that before the game.
We got another flag, though. Great run, but another flag.
Cody Crist all the way out across the 40, but yes, another flag sitting back on the Plano 40-yard line. Plano sideline is signaling like they think the penalty is against Eastwood.
Yeah, I think they're saying offside Eastwood on this play. Got a player down for Eastwood, too. Jonah Wheeler is the young man down here at the 28-yard line, Mike.
Yeah, number 8, a junior for this Eastwood defense.
For offsides on the defense, that penalty's declined. Result of the play is a first down. My timeout for the injured player.
Jonah Wheeler, a junior cornerback on this Eastwood Troopers defense, still down on the field at the 28-yard line, part of a 3-man cornerback rotation with Michael Williams and Nathan Carranza. See if we can see what happens to him here at the tail end of the play. He certainly caught the full brunt of Cody Crist.
Yeah, and Cody Crist didn't do anything wrong, obviously. He just ran into him hard. And,
right.
And Wheeler was coming in high. It looked like he got stung in the head pretty good, though, on the collision.
Here's the unfortunate reality of that meeting. Cody Crist is 6'2", 182 pounds. Jonah Wheeler, who is now back up on his feet and being helped off the field, is 5'5", 145 pounds. So a rather noticeable size advantage for Cody Crist.
Yeah, they've got a lot of smaller guys in that Eastwood secondary. They got their other starter at linebacker, Nicholas Diaz. He's only 5'6". You've got where's this other young man I'm looking for here? Ethan Fairbanks. He's at 5'9". They got some shorter guys on that defense.
So after the Crist run and the declined penalty, Plano with a quick response to that Eastwood touchdown, already inside Trooper territory at the 37-yard line. Towns in shotgun, hands to Crist. This time he's taken down in the backfield. Eastwood's defense with a very nice play to take him down 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And once again, it's our friend number 94
number
is
94.
not on the roster.
Our apologies, young man. He is nowhere to be found except if you're trying to run against him. Then he shows up big.
I wonder if we've got folks watching on our Facebook live stream out there in El Paso that might be commenting on the stream right now, letting us know who number 94 is. If somebody can pass that along, we certainly will appreciate it. I'll keep an eye on the comments here and see if we can figure it out. Meanwhile, Oliver Towns with nowhere to go. Once again, 94 in on it as well. And Julian Flores helping make the sack in the backfield just after we were saying Plano had made such a nice play with Cody Crist to get into Eastwood territory. Back-to-back negative plays, and they're knocked back all the way to the Eastwood 49-yard line.
Yeah, now they're looking at about third and almost 21 or so. They were coming down, looked like they're on their way to a score, and then 2 big defensive plays by Eastwood have taken them all the way back to the 49.
You know, we're told Pablo Duran is number 94's name, so we'll.
Pablo Duran, where'd you find that at?
We were just told by our crew back in Dallas.
All right, we'll take their word for it.
I don't know if they got that from the Facebook comments or somebody else, but God bless high school football and not always 1,000% reliable rosters. We had that happen almost exactly a year ago. The very first Thursday Night Lights broadcast that we ever did, myself and Landon Hoff, and I believe it was a player from Waxahachie, number 12, nowhere to be found on any roster. And
isn't it always the case where that's the kid that keeps popping up every time? Yeah,
of course. So 3rd down and 22. Deep ball from Towns for Jaden Chambers behind the defense. Nice move into the end zone.
Wow.
Touchdown, Plano.
Look at the Eastwood coaches over here. There's a game of it by itself just in our next booth. Chambers again, and a great throw by Towns. Just a great throw. Chambers just ran right by the defender. He got behind him, and Towns just laid it out for him perfectly. Just a fantastic throw and catch for the touchdown on 3rd and forever.
3rd and 22 turns into 6 points for Plano. Jaden Chambers with a great move at the 4-yard line to scoot away from the defender. The extra point goes off the goalpost, though. So it'll stay 29-20.
Oh, this is getting fun for me because now that extra point that Eastwood passed up earlier now really does become big.
Yeah.
I do love arguing about that extra point decision. And it's the decision that so many coaches just aren't capable of handling. And about 90% of the time, I've always said, you kick, you take the point. You kick, you take the point. I'm kind of mad at myself that I kind of agreed with the idea to go for it too, because now it's playing out where that point is huge. If it was 29-21 right now, Eastwood's looking at a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie.
Right.
Now it's a 2-score game because early in the 3rd quarter, they decided to make it an 8-point game instead of 9. Never stopping to think. And Julio Lopez is not the only one who does this. Almost every coach who ever coached at any level has always seems to lose track of the fact that, you know, a lot of things are going to happen before we're done, right?
Right.
We want to give up points now because a lot of things are going to happen before we're done. And it might happen here.
You know where else they gave away points was late in the first half. They were down in field goal range.
3 right
4th
there.
down.
Yeah.
They could have gotten 3 points right there. This time they are going to let it bounce into the end zone.
That almost didn't go.
Only just barely.
Wow. That took one hop and came back into the field of play and basically just landed right on the goal line. They were standing there just letting it bounce. The return team of Eastwood's having a little bit of a tough day.
The coaching staff
and there's 2 more
Eastwood.
points, by the way. There's 2 more points. They picked up the ball in the field of play and ran it into the end zone for a safety. Been a lot of points in this game back and forth that might very well come into play before we're done.
You take those 2 points off the board. You put 1 point on the board for the PAT. You put 3 points on the board for the field goal late in the first half, and it's 27-24, and a field goal ties the game.
Thank you very much.
Instead, it's a 2-possession game here late in the 3rd quarter. Castaneda picking his way across the 30. Nice run because there was not a whole lot of room to be found, and he found a couple of crevices to pick up about 7 there.
But tell me that's not high school football in a nutshell, too.
Amen.
Right? I mean, you've done a great deal more of it than I have in the last couple of years, but it's always one of the fun things about doing high school football on Friday nights. Some of the things that you see happen just don't happen in the NFL.
Yeah.
Don't even happen in the big-time college schools.
And it's a further example of every single point matters. Even if it is just 2 points on a safety, it can come into play later in the football game. This time Castaneda with nowhere to go on 2nd down and 2. He's going to bring up 3rd and 2.
Yeah, actually, you're looking at, they've given up at least 5 points. No, like 6 points, right? You're right, at least 6 points.
What appears to be the final play of the 3rd quarter here as time winds down. Castaneda
there's the good move for the
has
first
himself
down.
The first down across the 35 to the 36. And that will bring our 3rd quarter of play to a close. 29-20, our score through 3. I think you're going to want to come back for the 4th quarter of Thursday Night Lights. This one's been an awful lot of fun.
Oh, I think you're going to want to come back all right. At the end of 3 quarters of play, the score is 29, Plano, El Paso, Eastwood 20. Are we having fun or what? This has been an excellent second half of football, a couple long touchdowns for each team, and a 9-point game. And as we know in Texas high school football, a lot can change in just 1 quarter of action. I want to welcome you into our WFAA newsroom. I'm Jonah Javad. Thank you for spending your evening with us, whether it's on Facebook or on our live stream, wherever you're watching this, whether it's Dallas, Fort Worth, El Paso, somewhere in Texas, or just somewhere across the country. Thank you for being with us this evening. I want to give you a couple quick programming notes. Reef Break, streaming right now on abc.com. Also, the Lego Movie, that'll be rebroadcast at 1:15. a.m. Coming up in the fourth quarter, we'll hear from Plano Principal Sarah Watkins, along with Isleta Athletic Director Mike Williams. We'll have interviews with them coming up here in just a handful of minutes. Before I go for the evening, I just want to share this with you all real quick. There's more to life than sports, right? Life is better with sports in it. There is no greater example than this evening in Frisco between these two teams and the communities coming together for it. Nothing better. And we're really glad we can bring you the action tonight. It's been our pleasure and our honor. I'm Jonah Javad here in Dallas. Let's get you back for the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter time from Ford Center, El Paso, Eastwood, and Plano Senior High. A 9-point football game as it stands right now. Eastwood down by those 9 points, but with possession. And they've had some success here in the second half. A pair of touchdowns, a touchdown run from Christian Castaneda, and a touchdown pass from Castaneda to Luca Gondara. That cut the lead down to 3. Plano responded. Now here on the screen, they do find Gonda. He makes the catch. A little bit of running room. Spins away from a tackle and out to the 42.
That's a sidearm throw around the defenders. You see that?
Yes, it was.
Oh. That's Brett Farley, running around. I mean, he had 2 Plano defenders coming right after him. And watch this throw.
Yeah.
He just sidearms it around him. That's incredible.
I am a former high school quarterback myself. I'm the son of a former high school quarterback. My father texted me during the third quarter break there. He said, this number 10 from El Paso Eastwood is a stud. This time the handoff goes to Gonda. He's close to the first down, out to the 45-yard line. 3rd and 1 coming.
Well, I was a high school bench warmer who was the son of a man who didn't play football, so I have no idea what any of that means.
3rd and 1 for Castaneda. Good hesitation to let the block develop and get across the first down marker.
Yeah, but I think your dad's right about this kid. I mean, it's like their coach, Julio Lopez, said. I mean, he's special. Everything begins and ends with him. So he goes, so goes Eastwood. And we saw it last week. He had maybe his worst game for Eastwood, they said, and 3 interceptions. And completes like 13 out of 35 or some nonsense. But when he gets it going, he's tough to stop.
1st and 10 for Castaneda. Flips it out on the left-hand side for Gonda. Nice defensive play. Isaiah Calhoun.
Wow, great.
He's a kid that Jadon McCullough talked up all throughout this week. One of the best players on this Plano defense. 2nd team all-district. Last year as a corner. This year he's moved to safety, but just comes knifing through to make the play. Gets off the block and drops him for a 3-yard loss.
Yeah, and he also said he's such an athletic kid. He could be playing on offense as well.
Yeah. 10:42 here to go here in the fourth quarter. Let's go to the sideline to Cynthia Izaguirre.
Hey, Mike, tonight has been monumental in so many ways for the Eastwood Troopers and the Plano Senior High Wildcats, including the opportunity of a lifetime to play right here at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. Joining me now is Isleta ISD Athletic Director Mike Williams. Mike, what a great game this has been, and given what the Eastwood team has been through, to be so competitive, that's got to feel good.
Oh, it feels great, and you are absolutely right. This was one heck of an opportunity for both teams, actually, to get out here and play in the Star. We appreciate all the efforts that went into it, and no matter the outcome of the game, there are a lot of winners here tonight. You just look around at all the kids that came, the bands uniting like that. Quite a few special things have happened tonight.
All right, Mike Williams, Athletic Director for the Isleta ISD, and good luck tonight. I hope it all ends the way you want it to, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike, Dale?
Well, I don't think anybody in Plano agrees with that thought. But for Mike's case, yes. Yeah, I think so too. But I think Mike said it best there, though. I mean, I think there's winners all over this place.
Yes.
And I think the Cowboys and the city of Frisco and the school officials that decided to move this game here, as I was joking about how hot it was in North Texas today, but that oven by itself is a pretty good reason to move it. But I still think playing where the Cowboys practice has to be huge for these kids on both sides. And the fact that it's turned out to be a pretty good game under the circumstances, I think it's a great testament to both schools.
A couple of short runs lead to 4th and 5 here, and the pass to Samaniego goes begging. Again, a situation where Samaniego wasn't out of the
break
yet.
We've seen that a couple of times.
Sailing by.
He was there. I mean,
he was.
He had the defender shielded off to the inside. The ball was there. He was there, but he wasn't looking as it zipped by.
9:36 to play in the fourth. 9-point game, and Plano's got the football back when we return. Back at Ford Center, Plano football up 9 with 9:36 remaining in the fourth. This is a team that likes to run the football, Dale. I imagine we're going to see a good bit of that here. This time Oliver Towns can't pick up the snap and taken down deep in the backfield.
Well, he can't pick it up because it's a bad snap. It was low and to his left. He was actually just lucky to get on top of the football. So
he really was.
They lose 7 yards. It looks like 6-7 yards on the bad snap, and they go backwards. This has been two different halves, basically for both teams. I mean, I thought Eastwood was pretty shaky in the first half.
Yeah.
Plano looked very good. Second half, Eastwood I think has looked very good the second half, and Plano hasn't played well.
Second down and 16 now after the bad snap. Towns swallowing up, ball's loose. Ball's loose and Eastwood's on it. They're trying to say incomplete pass, the official says. The Eastwood defense cannot believe that call, and frankly, neither can I. That ball looked like it was knocked out of the hand of Oliver Towns. That's Scott Davis, the referee. He's the crew chief tonight. We'll get a look at the replay here. That ball looks like it's knocked out of his hands, and the Eastwood players are pointing at the screen saying, how do you not call that a fumble?
Now the Eastwood El Paso fans are unhappy, and man, I don't see anything that resembles a pass attempt there. Gee whiz. How can that possibly be an incomplete pass?
And frankly, if it is an incomplete pass, it should be intentional grounding.
Oh, well, yeah, if you are going to call it incomplete. Maybe they'll check instant replay here. Do they have instant replay in high school, Mike? Oh, that's right. No, I hate instant replay. No, I don't want that either.
Believe it or not, and I don't. They do.
You're kidding me.
Not in this game. Only in the championship games.
Oh well, okay. Makes a little bit of sense, I guess. Yeah, it'd be impossible financially for the high schools to do it. But I'm sorry, guy. I don't know who that official is, but wow, that's I'm with the coaches from Eastwood on this particular play over there. I saw nothing that looked like a pass.
While we're in the timeout here, let's go to Joe Trahan on the sideline.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. And one of the great stories, underlying stories with this game has been the student empowerment that we've seen from some of these kids at Plano. We've got Sarah Watkins, who's the principal. Now that we're in this game and we've gone through this game, what do you think this night has meant to your high school?
I I think there's been a sense of unity that's been built. I think there's been an awareness of empathy and caring for others that has been building up for a couple of weeks and has culminated in a really great evening. I think the band and drill team and everything that they put together was a good example of that they spent time together today before the game. They ended the performance together, and that came from the kids and their desire to show their heart and compassion for others.
And speaking of some of those students, we want to meet Sheridan Chandler. Sheridan, tell us about the 22 acts of random kindness that you guys put together.
So on our campus, these past few weeks, we've been putting together random acts of kindness with 2 student organizations, Peer Assistance and Leadership, PALS, and Student Congress, STUCO. And through those organizations, we've helped decorate the hallways and put up 22 acts of kindness to do in honor of the 22 victims of the shooting.
So there you go, right? These students doing great work, turning tragedy into something really positive, and it's been a great job. Thanks so much, ladies. Have a good night. Mike, I didn't interrupt the touchdown for once. Back to you.
Joe, thanks a lot. It is 4th and 1 though now. And the handoff goes to Tylen Hines. Nowhere to go initially, but he skirts back to the left-hand side, and he may go the distance. Tylen Hines, 44 yards on 4th and 1. Touchdown, Plano.
Wow! Wow, they stuffed him. They absolutely stuffed him when he was trying to go to the right side, and that young man just spun out of trouble, and then his speed did the rest for him. He just outran everybody. Let me see if I got this right. Turn out the lights. The party's over. Well, you know, I can't sing, but Don Meredith could, and he'd be singing about now. The whole thing, and this is what I love about football at every level, Mike. We could argue about the extra point. We could argue about not kicking field goals. We could argue about we got a fumble down here and a 4th down play down here. There's your football game. There's your football game, basically in 2 plays. What appears to me to be the fumble call that wasn't, and they were 3rd and about 17, 3rd and 18. They pick up 16 of it on 3rd down, which is a good play by itself.
Yeah.
But then they stop Hines on the run. He gets away. His great speed does the rest. Plano overcomes the problems. Now they take the lead back up to 16 points with 7:47 to play. And I really do wish I could sing because I think the song is appropriate. This part of the party is over.
Listen, I'm just going to say this. It is still just a 2-possession game.
It is that. Well, 2 possession, two-point conversion.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. 2 touchdowns, two-point conversions would theoretically tie the football game. 7:47 to play in this game, and we are talking about an Eastwood team that is very good at onside kicks.
I'd like to be one of those guys. I like to give up early. I've always been one that's willing to give up early.
I've always thought that about you.
I get on a golf course. I bogey the first hole. My rounds.
You're walking off.
I'm done. My round's over. Those announcers, and I'm not saying you. I'm really not. But you ever watch those announcers and it's like a 30-point lead? And they go, you never know. Yeah, well, I do know. I do know. They're not coming back, and I just don't think you can come back against this Plano team.
That's
but
the
we'll
point
see.
where you change the channel.
Yeah, we'll see.
Kick goes deep and into the end zone. Eastwood's return team is, listen, hey, go ahead.
I think they're like a -6.
Just bounce into the end zone.
Yeah, please go in the end zone. I think if I was Plano, I'd start kicking it to about the 10 and see what they do with it. I don't think they had a return outside the 20. They ran one of them backwards for the safety. They almost had one just die on them at the 1-foot line a moment ago. But yeah, Plano responded though. I mean, I think they got a big break. I mean, I really do. But you have to take advantage of the breaks. And even after the break, if indeed that's what it was, by not calling the fumble, they still had to convert 3rd and 17, and they did it.
So now here comes Castaneda. What can he do with it? He's taken down in the backfield.
Yeah, and this is the problem when you're Eastwood, when Plano pretty much knows you have to start throwing it now. Yeah, they're not too concerned about anybody running by you now. They're looking at Castaneda and saying, well, you want to run? Hey, feel free. I mean, we're 7:28, the clock's running.
Yeah.
They'll let him run all they want, so they're just going to take off and go after him now.
They're pinning their ears back. That was Zamir White, the junior defensive tackle, coming through with the sack there. Castaneda this time able to get the pass off, but it's too low.
The party's over.
Trying to find Aaron Delgadillo. So now third down. And 16.
The party's over.
I'm just going to squeeze in between clauses of Dale songs.
I love Don Meredith. I love Don Meredith and Howard Cosell back in the day.
3rd and 16, and I'll tell you what, you do not want to be giving the football back to Plano right now if you're Eastwood. Castaneda deep over the middle. He's got a man complete for a first down. A.J. Delgado took a big hit.
And what a throw.
Picks up the first down.
What a throw.
Everything this team and this community has been through, being down 16 in the fourth quarter is nothing for these kids. Delgado again across the 41.
You know, I mentioned this early in the game as well. This is a team that played last Friday night and then had to make the long bus trip on Wednesday because the game was moved to Thursday. I mean, they lost a day. I mean, it doesn't appear to have hurt them a great deal. Maybe it did a little bit in the first half. I don't think so. But you know, they've lost a day in the travel along with everything surrounding the game. And as you mentioned, their former teammate Eddie Cruz drowning in New Mexico. And yet they keep hanging in here. They keep hanging in. You got to give them a lot of credit for this. I mean, a lot of credit for this. That bus ride's got to be what? 7 hours? 6, 7 hours?
It's a
10-hour bus ride. 10. I wouldn't like to be on a cruise ship for 10 hours. A 10-hour bus ride to get here, practice Wednesday when they did arrive, and then turn around and play Thursday.
650 miles door to door from where we stand right here at the Ford Center to El Paso. 8 hours and 53 minutes if you're in a car, but imagine if you're in a bus, that amount of distance is going to
8:53 in a car for most people, 6 hours and 10 minutes for me, 5 hours and 23 minutes for my friend the judge. Yeah, okay. It's a long ride in a bus.
After that last incompletion, now fourth down and 6 for El Paso Eastwood. Yet another must with 6:52 left here in the fourth quarter. Tried to find Delgado and it's too tall. Plano with a big defensive stop. And with 6:48 to play, Eastwood starting to run out of time here at Ford Center. We'll be back. Two Cody Crist runs get the ball down inside the 30-yard line here for Plano while we were away, but 1st and 10 for the Wildcats as they're down to the 27.
And inside 6 minutes as well.
Yeah. Clock continuing to tick. 36-20 our score right now in favor of Plano, and they're trying to add to it. Towns. Handoff up the middle. C.J. Perry, his first carry of the day. Gets him out to the 22-yard line. 5:25 and moving fourth quarter, and Eastwood does have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, but down 16, they probably don't want to be using them just yet.
Well, now when you got the party at the main event waiting for you too, you know. So.
Handoff once again in the backfield, and swallowed up is C.J. Perry. That one played well by Eastwood. First couple plays of this Plano possession, Wildcats were able to kind of run right through them, but good stop there on 2nd and short, and that creates a 3rd down and appears to be about 8.
Yeah, big old Vincent Valdez on that left side made the first hit on the play and turned it back. But yeah, I think, you know, after they turned that ball over on downs, down 16 points, 7 minutes or so to play in the game, I think there's just that natural letdown where Crist was able to take advantage of that, and with the big offensive line that he's got in front of him, they ran it down their throats for a couple of plays.
3rd and 7. Towns looking deep down the right-hand side. Caught. Touchdown. Nolan Williams. Plano with the ice.
Once again, a great throw by the Towns kid. It's right where it had to be. They've made there's been a lot of really good plays. This is high school football in Texas, don't you think, Mike?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of really good plays by both teams. A lot of mistakes by both teams, but at the end of the day, just a lot of really good athletic plays.
Nolan Williams, also very good defensively. Last year had 3 interceptions on the defensive side of the ball, as the extra point is up and through. 43-20 now as Plano is
now is
things up.
Now is Plano going to win?
Now if you wanted to sing, I think you probably are.
I wish I could. I really, really do. Yeah. No, but it's getting away from them here at the end a little bit, and Plano's able to take advantage. But you know, they got that size advantage. They've got the school size advantage, and they're able to just take advantage of that when they needed to, and just wearing them down. That's what usually happens when you've got a 5A against a 6A matchup.
Right.
But that third quarter was fun. I mean, that third quarter was interesting on both sides.
It was.
I mean, Plano played so well in the first half, had a very comfortable lead. A couple of questionable decisions, I think, by Julio Lopez about passing up field goals and the like to not get points on the board. But then in the third quarter, the game switched, and the Eastwood kids came out and played incredibly well. But then when it looked like Plano might be in trouble, then I think you got to give all the credit back to them.
Yeah.
Because they pulled it right back together and did exactly what they had to do, and tack on the scores that put the game away.
Christian Castaneda has been involved in all 3 touchdowns for Eastwood. Ran for a score to make it a 10-point game early in the third quarter. Threw the beautiful touchdown pass to Luca Gondota that made it a 3-point game in the third quarter. Since then, though, it has been the Oliver Towns show. Touchdown pass to Jaden Chambers to make it 29-20. The Tylen Hines touchdown run also very impressive on that 4th and 1. And then again, Towns with the touchdown pass to Nolan Williams to establish the current lead at 43-20. 3 total touchdown passes on the day for Oliver Towns. He had an earlier TD pass to Chambers in the first half as well.
Well, that
He's
second
had a very nice afternoon.
That second one to Chambers was incredible. That one down the sideline right here in front of us. That was the throw that I think decided the football game.
So here comes Castaneda once again, now down 23. Mark Graham on the receiving end gets out close to a first down. May have the first down. Good to see Mark Graham back on the field. I know we mentioned earlier that he had come back, but he took quite a hit and went off the field for a little while. Good to see him back out there. They do give him the first down. Castaneda rolling out, has a man downfield at Samaniego, and it bounces off his helmet, incomplete.
Here's another rule I don't like in high school and college: stopping the clock on first downs. It just seems to be kind of like an artificial time. I mean, I guess it does generate more plays. They like more plays. They like more offense. And certainly in the college game, they seem to love it. But the college game will drag out for 4 hours most nights. And stopping it on the first downs, that just seems to work against the basic concept of a clock.
Yeah.
The clock's running. It doesn't stop for a first down.
It's stopped right now after the incompletion, 3:58, as Castaneda throws incomplete behind A.J. Delgado. That brings up 3rd down and 10.
I think we're looking at quite a few kids here on both these teams, though, that are going to be playing football for a few more years.
Oh, yeah. Certainly Christian Castaneda has gotten looks from a number of different schools. He's had Texas Tech come down to give him a look. He doesn't have an offer in that regard yet, but they've at least shown some interest. UTEP has shown interest as well. UTPV has come out. Coach Lopez says they love him. So he's certainly garnering some interest. Cody Crist is a player that has gotten some interest as well for Plano. Joe Immediato, the left tackle for El Paso Eastwood, is probably the biggest D1 prospect for the Troopers.
You got Christian Sabatini, the Plano tight end, already committed to LSU.
That's Louisiana, not LSU.
Oh, it's not LSU.
Yeah, Louisiana.
Oh, just Plano, Louisiana. I thought you were spelling it out for me in case I didn't know what LSU was or something.
Still a Division I school, though.
Oh, yeah, right. But that, he had offers from Marshall, Prairie View A&M, Army,
Yeah, there's definitely some talent out here on the field. .307 to play. Castaneda able to reach out for a couple extra yards there, create 2nd down and 7. But they are in emergency mode at this point.
Oh, look at that throw.
Beautiful throw to A.J. Delgado. Yeah. There is very clearly a rapport between Christian Castaneda and A.J. Delgado. They know what each other is doing, and it works on the regular. This time they come near side, across the 20 into the red zone. First time today we're calling Isaiah Pena's name, 5'11" sophomore.
They're playing so fast the chain gang can't keep up on the far side.
This time it's complete on the left-hand side for Angel Santos, who gets down to the 15. .225 and moving. Eastwood doing all they can to drive downfield as fast as possible. Castaneda's going to score here. Christian Castaneda into the end zone. The 14-yard touchdown run shaves it off a little bit. That'll cut it down for the moment to a 17-point game. An extra point would make it 16 and still a 2-possession game. 2:17 to play here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, they gave him a lot of room just to run it up the middle because they're expecting pass all the way. So everybody from the linebackers on back is dropping out to cover the receivers on the outside. And he just could easily take it up the middle for the score.
They'll go for 2 here. Castaneda into the back of the end zone, wide open Angel Santos, and the 2-point conversion is successful. Down to a 15-point game now, 2:17 to play.
Again, not that this remotely matters, but since it is a bit of a lopsided game with 2:17 to play, why would you go for 2 there?
I was wondering the same.
If you, and again, I don't think it matters, but at the same time, if you kick the extra point, you're down 16. Since this is the team that loves to onside kick and has had a great deal of success with it, if you had gone for 2 there and missed it, it's a 3-possession game. It's a 3-possession game. I mean, not that it matters, but I'm telling you, I don't think there's anybody in America, including me, that understands the options between the kick for 1 and the 2-point play.
Yeah.
They don't understand it.
I can understand at least this much. They were going to need to score 3 touchdowns, and on those 3 touchdowns, they were going to need an extra point and 2 2-point conversions.
Right.
So I guess if you're Julio Lopez, you say, well, we need 2, so we might as well try and get 1 right now.
Yeah, but if you don't make that one,
right, it's backbreaking. It's
over.
Yes.
I mean, it is over, obviously, I would say. But again, with this team, an onside kick and all that kind of good stuff, I'll play along with you for that for a bit. But I'm saying, you can't overcome 17 points. You could remotely overcome 16 points. So you had to kick the extra point there.
Yeah.
Isn't this the kind of thing you talk about in a 16-point game with 2 minutes to play?
2:17 to play in this 16-point game. We do want to remind you that the 10 o'clock news is coming up right after this, but the onside kick is loose. Who's going to get on top of it? Both teams have had ample chances at that football.
Eastwood had about 4 shots at it.
Who comes out of the pile with the football? Still waiting on a signal. Plano ball.
Oh, wow. That was executed perfectly. That was absolutely executed perfectly. They get the miss on the first one, the second one, now the ball's bouncing around. And it looked like Eastwood was going to recover that onside kick. That would have been fun. I mean, I'm sorry, that would have been fun to have that. But now they have lost what little teeny tiny chance they might have had.
Nathan Carranza had an opportunity at it. So did Matthew Garcia. Both of them saw it slip through their hands, and Plano recovers. And now we are 2 minutes and 12 seconds away from putting this one in the books. Handoff goes in the backfield. Taken down in the backfield.
Oh, they're using their
Perry.
Are they using their timeouts too?
They just used their first one.
I guess they are. Yeah.
They had all 3 left to start this possession.
Yeah, they want one more try at it offensively, I guess.
2-possession game, 2:04 left, 2 timeouts remaining now for El Paso Eastwood. I mean, you need a miracle. There's no doubt.
You need a little bit more than a miracle, but miracles could happen. Not if I was coaching. I mean, I would have just called it over about 6 minutes ago. That's probably why I sat at the end of that bench my senior year most of the time. You know, once I tend to fall behind, I'm pretty much ready to phone it on in, and let's not get hurt now. Let's just call it a day and go home. And, you know, I've always been intrigued by, you know, basketball. I mean, it's true in every game. You know, Major League Baseball, they change pitchers with a 7-run lead with 1 out in the 8th. I mean, come on, let the guy throw. I mean, what's going to happen? You know, basketball games, you're down 17, they call timeout. I'm like, I hate some of that nonsense, but Eastwood wants to get one more offensive shot at it. What the heck? Why not?
You were singing after Tylen Hines made it a 16-point game.
And I was right. and I was absolutely right.
Whistles blow the play dead in the backfield as C.J. Perry tried to squirt away.
Yeah. I mean, that was such a big play. I mean, the game was legitimately on at that point.
Yes.
And he started, Hines kid starts to the right,
El Paso. Gets
stopped. And I'm really thinking, my goodness, Eastwood's going to get right back in this thing. I said, this is incredible. They've stopped him on 4th down and 1. And then he spins out of that and then takes off and goes 44 yards for the clinching touchdown, in my opinion. And again, I don't worry about it too much at the high school level, but I still don't understand that incomplete pass call that I think was a fumble. Certainly everybody on the other side of the Ford Center football field, meaning the El Paso fans and coaching staff, they thought it was a fumble. But Plano got the call, and then the Hines kid made the play that put the game away, when in fact it could have been Eastwood's ball in an 8-point game. But I think it was 8 points at that point, wasn't it? Yeah.
As we roll across 10 o'clock, we do want to remind you that your late local news is coming up as soon as this game has reached its conclusion. 3rd down and 14. The handoff again goes to Perry. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. And once again, Julio Lopez out to call his final timeout.
Their final timeout of the half.
1:48 remaining, and Plano will very likely punt here from their own 44-yard line.
Well, I'm not sure of that. I mean, these high school football teams nowadays, boy, they just do things I didn't ever hear of when you know, certainly when I was playing. I don't know about when you were playing, but this is why I've always been such an absolute strong advocate of no pass, no play in Texas. Explain to me how these kids from Eastwood can play as fast as they do, speaking that foreign language as they're barking out their plays, knowing where everybody's going to go, but they can't figure out how to get a 70 in biology. It makes no sense. You cannot play football at this level if you cannot maintain at least a 70 in the classroom. And that's why I'd never back off of that. These kids amaze me at what they do on a football field.
It is impressive the way that these kids are able to communicate, the breadth of knowledge they have to have, as Eastwood tried to come after the punt there, but they weren't able to get to it.
Well, I mean, you think about it. They're speaking a foreign language for starters. I mean, it's a language that none of us would understand.
You're saying the language of football.
The language of the play calling, right?
Yes.
Not to mention they got some guy over on the sideline flashing all kinds of cards and waving his arms around, and you got to know which one's doing it and all the rest of that nonsense. But they're basically speaking a foreign language, the language of football. And especially the way Eastwood does it, you've got about 12 seconds to figure out where you're going. You get about 12 seconds, maybe 12 seconds, to figure out who you're going to block. Now, Plano plays incredibly slow, so they got like 20 seconds to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And they go in the huddle, they call the play, a foreign language, they go to the line, and every 20 seconds they get up and they do it again. There's no reason you can't get a 70 in biology.
Castaneda over the middle once again, looking for Delgado between two defenders, and it's knocked away at the last moment. He almost hauled that one in as well. Delgado's a kid that they're expecting an awful lot from this year. He's playing in that slot position, and Julio Lopez says the kid that has played in that position the last several years, year after year after year, it's been a 1,000-yard production from that position, and A.J. Delgado seems well on his way from what we've seen him do tonight. 2nd and 10 for Castaneda, 1:34 to play, down 15. Near side finds Gray Romero. They're going to say he's out of bounds, incomplete.
It's going to be hard to get a deep pass off here. Plano's playing it pretty safe, dropping them back, covering up everybody pretty well.
Yeah. And frankly, with 1:29 to play, that's essentially what Eastwood needs. You start talking about the strategy at this point. Even scoring with 15 seconds left, you still give yourself a chance. You just need to be able to run one play after the onside kick.
Well, if they were to recover the onside kick, that's about all you need. As we saw in the championship game last year with North Shore and Duncanville.
Yeah.
They ran that thing down. They had one play from about midfield, and everybody's already celebrating on the Duncanville side, figuring, hey, we got our state championship. And one play for these high school kids today? No, you got a shot.
Mm-hmm.
You got a shot. This is their one play right here, the 4th down.
Yes, it is. 4th down and 10 from their own 25. If this goes begging, your football game's over. Castaneda flushed out of the pocket, trying to drive direct traffic downfield, but he's taken down from behind. Preston Frederick with the sack. And Plano makes the defensive play they needed to put this game on ice.
There wasn't any place downfield. That Plano secondary just blanketed everybody. I mean, they covered it up perfectly, and he had no place to throw that football.
Christian Castaneda played himself a heck of a football game, but just not quite able to do enough
I think your
to
dad's
chase
right.
down the Plano Wildcats tonight.
Yeah, I think your dad's right. I think the kid's a stud. They did this last year. They played Plano. They played at the 6A schools. Then they get into district play in 5A, and they went 5-0 in district.
Yes, they did.
And Plano's, in all the notes I saw, and I was laughing, is they haven't got their district championships at Plano for a long time. And, well, in order to do that, you got to get past Allen.
Exactly.
And that's not like getting over the hump, Mike. Getting past Allen is like crawling over the mountain.
Yeah.
And the mountain's covered in ice and snow. and you're just not going to get there. I mean, as you said in your notes, if you're going to beat Allen to win a district title, not only do you have to be the best team in your district, you got to be one of the very best teams in the country.
Yes.
And so Plano's had several playoff spots because of that, that second place finish. But J. Don McCullough is doing, I think, about as good as you could expect almost any coach to do when you're looking at the powerhouse juggernaut that Allen has created down the road a bit.
We do want to remind folks, as you guys are sitting there watching at home, as we put a bow on this broadcast, this is not the only Thursday night broadcast we are going to do this season. We will be on Facebook Live all season long. Next week it's going to be Grapevine and Northwest on the WFAA Facebook Live. But tonight it's Plano beating Eastwood 43-28 in the most anticipated high school football game across the state, certainly all week, arguably all season. It's Jadon McCullough's Plano Wildcats with a 15-point win over Julio Lopez's Eastwood Troopers to move to 1-1 on the year.
They said before the game they wanted to be 1-1. They've done that, and they got beat pretty big by Hebron last week, and they were down 46-0 in the second quarter. But Plano's got some talented kids too, and I just think when you're looking at everything surrounding this game, as cliche and as trite as it might well sound to some people, I just think both teams played incredibly well. I had fun. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
Amen.
That's all that really matters. I had fun.
We hope you guys at home did as well. 43-28, our final score as Plano beats El Paso Eastwood And with that, our first broadcast of the 2019 Thursday Night Lights season is in the books. Our thanks to the athletic directors, especially from both schools. Eastwood's Michael Williams, Gerald Brenz from Plano. Without their help and support from both of these school districts, this broadcast tonight does not happen. For Cynthia Izaguirre and Joe Trahan on the sidelines, and for Dale Hansen here with me in the booth, I'm Mike Leslie. Thanks so much for watching tonight here on WFAA and KBIA, and streaming across the state on all Tegna platforms. We'll see you next week on Thursday Night Lights from Mustang Panther Stadium in Grapevine as two of the top 5A teams in the state square off when Grapevine hosts Northwest. So long from the Star. We'll see you next week.